Pill divine ye. A voice of surprise and joy sounded and a gray man appeared before him. His skin and hair as well as robes were completely gray. As soon as this man landed, the killing intent of the great sun god mountain Tao essence divine emperor was instantly dispersed. People could tell that this gray man dispersed the killing intent. Emo saluted with his fists, so it's brother Xing. I haven't seen you for a while indeed. This person was Xing Hong. Congratulations on reaching Tao actualization divine emperor Pill divine Yi. If you don't mind, we're willing to hold an immortal fruit party for you. Xing Hong said happily. Compared to how calmly he was with Yi Mo last time, his expression was much more vivid. He thought Yi Mo would agree to him before, so he didn't watch Yi Mo. He thought this Pill divine Yi would soon come to find him. However, Pill divine Yi disappeared for 100 years. Although there were legends that Pill divine Yi was killed by Wan Tongtong, but as a Tao essence divine emperor, he didn't believe a Pill divine would die that easily. Otherwise, there was no way Yi Mo would reach Pill divine. Then, Xing Hong went to investigate the situation. Things were indeed different to rumors. When Yi Mo left the Void Marketplace, he intentionally left marks along the way. That's how Bailey Hong caught up to Wan Tongtong. There was no way Wan Tongtong would leave these marks as she was hunting Yi Mo, so it was definitely Yi Mo who left behind these marks. Knowing that Yi Mo might have not died, Xing Hong kept Yi Mo's stall. However, he was disappointed as Yi Mo truly never came back again. Now, 100 years had passed and Yi Mo came back to the Void Marketplace. How could he not be excited? A Tao actualization Pill divine, how could the Void Marketplace merchant tower let him go? Hearing this, the people nearby looked at Yi Mo with different light. Was there a need to celebrate Yi Mo reaching Tao actualization divine emperor when there were this many Tao actualization divine emperors in the Void Marketplace? It was just to suck up to Yi Mo, no need for the celebration party. I still have a private business to deal with. After I deal with that, I will go to Void Marketplace Merchant Tower to visit Brother Xing. Yi Mo said calmly. He knew that Xing Hong did all this so he could concoct pills for the Void Marketplace Merchant Tower long term, but there was no way he would do that. Xing Hong quickly said, I'm not busy. I'll help you. Then his smile faded and he stared coldly at the great sun god mountain Tao essence divine emperor. You dare to be so rude to Pill divine Yi? Do you think you're a Tao essence divine emperor, so you can be cocky in the Void Marketplace? This great sun god mountain Tao essence divine emperor was already completely shocked when he saw Xing Hong be so polite to Yi Mo. He didn't even dare to bullshit to an ordinary immortal friends from the Void Marketplace Merchant Tower, much less a Void Marketplace Merchant Tower Tao Essence Divine Emperor. I don't dare to. I just saw that Pill Divine Yi came from the Divine Tao realm, that's why I wanted to greet him. The Tao Essence Divine Emperor quickly said. Xing Hong ignored him and asked Yi Mo, Pill Divine Yi, do you need me to help kill this bastard? His tone sounded like it was as simple as killing an insect. The great sun god mountain Tao essence divine emperor heard this and shook. Killing him like that, this was too cruel. But he knew that the Void Marketplace Merchant Tower had the right to say such words. Yi Mo smiled. Thank you, Brother Xing, but no need for now. Then he looked at this Tao essence divine emperor. You've greeted me already, you can piss off. In time I will go vice Great Sun God Mountain with Xiaoyun. By the way, Great Sun God Mountain has a Great Sun God Peak. I plan to use that as a urine kettle. Hearing this, the Tao Essence Divine Emperor's face went green, but he didn't dare to say anything. He could only forbear his fury and walk away. He swore that if he saw Yi Mo alone, he would turn them to dust. Humph! Xing Hong sneered. Yi Mo smiled to Xing Hong, Brother Xing. There seems to be a sudden increase in people in the Void Marketplace. There's more humans than before too. What's going on? Seeing this, Xing Hong smiled and said, You should know this. The Tao Fruit Tower is about to open. Many people came to enter it. Of course, if Pill Divine Yi needs a spot, then I have it covered. Yi Mo's cultivation level was no weaker than Tao Essence Divine Emperor. He really didn't care if there was top Tao fruit in the tower, so he quickly waved his hand. I don't need it for now. If I really do, then I'll ask Brother Xing for help. Yi Mo didn't care about the spot, but Wang Nanshuang and them on the side were dazed. She almost wanted to charge up and grab Yi Mo's shirt and ask him if he was crazy. They all came for the Dao fruit tower spot. Even if they couldn't go in, they would want to exchange for a Dao fruit from inside. Due to this, they brought the most precious things in their sect. Xinghong looked at Ji Shi and the two other women next to her and smiled. Okay. Pill Divine Yi, do your things first. After you're done, I'll come invite Pill Divine Yi. Then Xinghong left and disappeared into the crowd. Seeing this, Wang Nanshuang suddenly saluted with his fists. Pill Divine Yi, you go discuss with Ruoxi. I will go back the rest tower first with martial sister Yuehe. Wang Nanshuang dragged the other Dao Nourishment Divine Emperor away. Ji Shi knew what her martial uncle meant, but she sighed. It's not her first day knowing Emo. No matter what she say, Emo wasn't going to give the Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect a Dao Fruit Tower spot. Even if she sacrificed her body, Emo wouldn't agree. Plus, she wouldn't do that. 5 minutes later, Emo and Ji Shi appeared in an Immortal Rest Tower room. At this time, it was impossible to find a room in the Immortal Rest Tower, but when Emo walked in with her, the attendant asked if Emo wanted a room. Ji Shi thought, as long as she was with Emo, there didn't seem to be anything hard. That was how she survived in the life-crippling bridge. After closing the door, Emo waved up a restriction and looked calmly at her. I don't have time to waste. Give me what you owe. Ji Shi quickly said, apologetically, MBE. If the other half of the gourd is won me right now, I will definitely give it to you. What do you mean? Emo's tone went cold. Before she schemed against Xiaoyun, Emo had some good impression towards Ji Shi, but now, she was no different to Ji Sini in Emo's eyes. Martial brother Yi, listen to me first. I was planning to give that gourd to martial sister Xiaoyun, but something happened in between. Before I could give it to her, you took martial sister Xiaoyun away. Ji Shi's tone was extremely genuine. Emo knew this. Xiaoyun said Ji Shi was going to give her something, but Xiaoyun missed him too much and didn't care. Even so, Emo interrupted Ji Shi. Just tell me where the gourd is now? I've left the gourd with my master. I don't know how long it will take for me to go back from the void marketplace. I don't even know if I can go back. I was afraid you would go to the Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect to ask for the gourd, so I left it there. If I knew you came to the void marketplace, I would bring it. Ji Shi sighed. She was telling the truth. That half-gourd had no use to her. She didn't need to offend Emo for it. Emo's heart surged with disappointment. He got up. He didn't have the mood to talk with Ji Shi anymore. Seeing Emo get up, Ji Shi got up too. Martial brother Yi, thank you. Emo knew that she was thanking him for saving her life on the life-crippling bridge. But Ji Shi knew Xiaoyun was his wife and still didn't try to help her. Emo's impression of her was extremely bad. Seeing Emo couldn't be bothered to talk to her, Ji Shi said dejectedly, Martial brother Yi. How is martial sister Xiaoyun? Emo stopped and turned around saying coldly, Ji Shi, that's not something you need to care about. Just give me that gourd. If I go back to the divine Dao realm and find out you're lying one single bit, then I will annihilate Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect before the great Sun God Mountain does. Then, Emo walked out and disappeared from this Immortal Rest Tower. Emo just walked out of the tower and an extremely pretty goddess bowed. May I ask if you're Pill Divine Yi Master? Emo looked at her in confusion. He didn't know her at all. Then, Emo thought of Xinghong and immediately said, I am. The goddess quickly said, Xinghong, invite Pill Divine Master to chat at the Void Marketplace Merchant Tower. I was ordered to wait here for you. Okay. Lead the way. Emo was planning to go vice Xinghong. He wasn't scared of them, but it was good to connect with them. Seeing Emo so compliant, the goddess said in surprise and joy, Thank you, Pill Divine Yi. This way, please. Wait! They were suddenly stopped in a motionless voice. At the same time, a man with blue lethal light on his face appeared before the two. His hair was messy and he was Dao Essence Divine Emperor peak stage. He seemed very messy, but his icy cold killing intent could be felt by all those around him. Emo didn't move. He knew this person. When he acted as a Dao Essence Divine Emperor coming back to the Void Marketplace, this guy was looking for him. He didn't your Pill Divine Yi? The Dao Essence Divine Emperor stared at Emo for a while before asking. Emo answered plainly, Yes, I am. I'm Xiao He. I've been waiting for you in the void marketplace for 100 years. Please come with me. As he spoke, his powerful killing intent receded, but his tone was still icy cold. It was as though that because he told Yemo to go, Yemo should go with him, no questions asked. I'm Pill Divine Yi indeed, but why should I go with you? Yemo asked back. Hearing this, Chao He's killing intent soared. As his killing intent soared, a burst of blue circulated around his body. Even he didn't expect that Yemo dared to argue back. Yemo was already annoyed that he didn't get the gourd, and now Chao He dared to act so cocky in front of him. Facing Chao He's powerful lethal force, Yemo went in instead and smashed out his domain. Yemo's domain was about to become a realm, and with his spirit sense domain on top, Chao He was pushed back tens of steps even though he was Dao Essence peak stage. Chao He's lethal force domain crumbled under Yemo's domain. Chao He looked at Yemo in disbelief. He completely didn't expect this Dao actualization divine emperor could so easily break his Dao Essence domain. This wasn't him attacking at full power, but he could tell that even if he attacked with full power, he wouldn't be able to get an advantage with Yemo. Was this Dao actualization Pill Divine only a Dao actualization? Yemo ignored Chao He and walked up to that scared pretty goddess and said, "Ignore this cocky bastard. Lead the way." Okay. The goddess suppressed her shock and quickly led in front. Pill Divine Yi, wait. Chao He came up. Yemo no longer had his patience and looked coldly at Chao He. What? Do you want to fight? Then go. No, Pill Divine Yi. Our palace lord is inviting you to be a guest. Please. His tone was much calmer this time. Yemo said without hesitation, "Tell your pie I have no time." Then Yemo sped up and the goddess sped up. Seeing Yemo ignore him, Chao He's face went blue for a while, but he controlled himself. Instead, he followed Yemo to the Void Marketplace Merchant Tower. Pill Divine Yi, please come in. Xinghong greeted up before Yemo even walked in. Xinghong invited Yemo into the Merchant Tower's luxurious guest hall and told the goddesses to bring the best immortal fruit and immortal tea. Yemo drank the tea and aroma circulated non-stop. The aroma could clear up one's sea of consciousness. Pill Divine Yi, this is the best Snow Ripple tea from Snow Ripple Lake. If Pill Divine Yi likes it, I'll give you some. Seeing Yemo seemingly like this tea, Xinghong immediately smiled and said, "Then thank you, Brother Xing. Did you find me to give me some immortal tea, or is it for something else?" Yemo didn't have the mood to waste time here. He wanted to find a place to rest and then ask about the Abyssal Realm. Xinghong smiled awkwardly. Pill Divine Yi probably knows what I want. Our merchant tower is quite powerful in the Void Marketplace, but unfortunately, our top Pill Divines are growing less. There's not a single Pill Divine like Pill Divine Yi. Seeing Yemo not talk, Xinghong could only continue. Everyone knows Pill Divine Yi's power in the Void Marketplace. If you're willing, our merchant tower wants to invite Pill Divine Yi to join our merchant tower. Yemo immediately said, "Thank you, Brother Xing, but God Crystals and God Spirit Range are not very attractive to me anymore, and I can't join the Void Marketplace Merchant Tower. Of course, if the Void Marketplace Merchant Tower needs me to concoct pills, then on Brother Xing's account I can do a few batches. As for fees, there's no need, but my pill concoction success rate is only 50%. Xinghong knew that inviting someone like Yemo to join them wasn't realistic unless he used forced. But as a pill divine, if Yemo went in and never came back out, it would clearly have a huge effect on the Void Marketplace Merchant Tower's reputation. Plus, he also knew that Chao He wanted to invite Yemo to concoct pills. It was already great that Yemo offered to concoct pills. Hearing that Yemo actually had 50% success rate, Xinghong quickly said, "Thank you very much, Pill Divine Yi. I really want to ask you to concoct some pills. You only need to give us 30%. The rest will be yours." Yemo smiled. "No, I can't trouble Brother Xing. I said 50%, so 50% it is. Perhaps I will be needing Brother Xing's help in the Void Marketplace." Xinghong was very happy. God pills had a very low success rate, and now that Yemo said he was giving 50% to them, it was a huge favor. He said with some pity, "We wanted to buy that light heart for Pill Divine Yi, but pity, it was taken by an extremely powerful half-primordial essence master." Yemo didn't listen to that at all. He didn't believe they would give the light heart to him. Although Yemo looked down on what Xinghong said, he still asked in shock, "There's actually halfway primordial essence masters who came to the auction?" Xinghong sighed, "Yeah, and there wasn't just one. Luckily, the auction side had a halfway primordial essence master too, or things would have been dangerous. The one who bought the light heart is probably a demon race divine emperor. He hid his power to Tao essence, but when he tore open the space in the room, he exposed his power." Yemo nodded. It was hard for even halfway primordial essence to tear open the void marketplace space. But since the buyer ran away, he was at most a halfway primordial essence. If it was a primordial essence divine emperor, he wouldn't need to run away. Xinghong clearly didn't have the mood to keep talking about the light heart. He took out a jade card for Yemo and said, "Pill Divine Yi. This is the jade card for the biggest immortal rest tower of our void marketplace merchant tower. If you use this to enter Void Star Immortal Rest Tower, you can choose any room to go in." Yemo quickly took the jade card and said, "Thank you, Brother Xing. I do have a few things to ask Brother Xing." Xinghong was in a good mood and quickly said, "Just ask me whatever you need, Pill Divine Yi. I'll tell you whatever I know. I heard Brother Xing say before that the Dao Fruit Tower was about to open. How much time is there left?" Yemo didn't want to go in the Dao Fruit Tower, but he wanted to buy some Dao fruits outside. With his pill concoction capabilities, it wasn't very hard. Hearing Yemo ask about the Dao Fruit Tower again, Xinghong immediately said, "There's 3 months till the Dao Fruit Tower opens. There's a lot of things before it opens." Yemo nodded, "I know, you told me last time. There will be a God rank and Dao rank challenge." "That's right. On the Void Marketplace God rank square, there will be 2 battle stages for the challenges. The challenge for them hasn't begun, but the distribution for the different races is about to begin. At that time, the powerful beings of all the races will gather together and discuss the distribution of the Dao Fruit Tower spots." Xinghong said, "How many spots does each race have? Does it need to be redistributed each time the Dao Fruit Tower opens?" Yemo asked in shock. He thought the spots were distributed already. Xinghong said, "Of course, but you might have understood wrong. This distribution isn't to take out all the spots of the races and redistribute them. It's redistribution of the extra ones. For example, the human race was once very strong and had 30 spots to enter the Dao Fruit Tower. Later, the divine Dao realm was broken, and after a while, no human race powerful beings came to this distribution. Thus, there are extra spots. The divine emperors of the god ranks won't all come to the Dao Fruit Tower, so there will be extra spots from there. Are there no powerful beings to represent the human race ever since the divine Dao realm was broken?" Yemo asked in shock. To him, although the divine Dao realm was broken, but there were still quite some Dao essence masters. There shouldn't be no one to lead the way. Xinghong knew Yemo was human, so he could only speak for Yemo and sighed, "Of course there is, but every time a powerful being came to represent the human race, he would be killed at the distribution, so in time, no divine emperor came to represent the human race." "Why would they be killed? Is the human race representative going to be killed for just asking for a few spots?" Yemo asked in confusion. Xinghong sighed. "I remember the last time a representative for the human race came, he was a Dao essence divine emperor. He just asked for 2 spots, but he was still challenged by a demon race Dao essence divine emperor. He was killed, and then the 2 spots were taken by the demon race." Yemo's face sunk. He was a human too. They only asked for 2 out of the 30 spots of human race, and the demon race divine emperor would kill them. Just how cocky were they? "Pill Divine Yi, you're from the human race. If you become a Dao essence Pill Divine, then it's not impossible to help the human race get a few spots." Xinghong could tell Yemo wasn't happy and added, "Is the strongest representative primordial essence divine emperor?" Yemo asked. Xinghong smiled. "How can there be that many primordial essence divine emperor? Each race only has 1 or 2 primordial essence divine emperor. They're all perfecting their own world. Who would have the time to come to this distribution? So it's only Dao essence peak stages. Even halfway primordial essences are very rare to see. But of course, the number of primordial essence divine emperors a race has is their confidence." Realizing this, Yemo nodded, "Thank you for letting me know. I still want to ask you for help. Just say it, Pill Divine Yi. Xinghong said. Yemo said without hesitation, I want to represent the human race for this Dao Fruit Tower spot distribution gathering. If the human race didn't even have the opportunity to enter the Dao Fruit Tower and just cowered in a broken realm, how can they ever get strong? They would only get weaker and weaker. Even if some sects use resources to buy Dao fruits, it was a bad decision. A sect's resources is used to cultivate one bice. If these resources flowed into the void marketplace, it would create a negative cycle. Plus, without the protection of powerful divine emperors, can people protect their Dao fruits? Xinghong looked at Yemo in shock and asked after a long while, Pill Divine Yi, you want to participate in the Dao Fruit Tower spot distribution gathering? Yes, I do. How do I go? Yemo asked. Xinghong finally realized that Yemo meant in. His face became serious and he saluted with his fists. Pill Divine Yi. There are some things I need to be clear with you. I hope you don't mind. Please say it, I won't mind. Yemo could guess what Xinghong was going to say. Xinghong said, although in the void marketplace and amongst other races, Pill Divines and Forgery Divines are the most respected. They have no special right in this gathering. The representative of any race could challenge you for a spot and you have to accept. If you lose and die, you will lose the spot. I need to tell you that although there are no primordial essence divine emperors, the people who go are Dao Essence and even Dao Essence peak stage. Pill Divine Yi, you're only Dao actualization and you just reached it. Yemo got up and saluted with his fists. Thank you, Brother Xing, for thinking for me, but I've made up my mind to join. Please help me. Of course, I don't mean to help me during the gathering, but just to help me participate. I believe there's still a few days before the gathering. If Brother Xing is worried, I can concoct pills before I go. Xinghong suddenly thought of Wan Tongtong and them. They were from the god rank, but they couldn't do anything to Yemo. Even if Yemo was no match, he wouldn't be instantly killed. Then, the Void Marketplace Merchant Tower would save him. That way, how can Yemo not be grateful towards them? Thinking about this, Xinghong said, it's very simple to join. Since Pill Divine Yi is set on joining, then leave it to me. I will sign up for you. 9 days later, the gathering will be held at the God Rank Square. Yemo was quite happy when he left the Void Marketplace Merchant Tower. He didn't believe he would lose to Dao Essence Divine Emperors. Pill Divine Yi. Chow, he has been waiting for a long time. That messy-haired Dao Essence Divine Emperor stopped Yemo again, but his face was much more respectful this time. Yemo said impatiently, what do you want? I just said I don't have time to go with you for pill concoction. Move aside. Chow, he was very patient and said, Pill Divine Yi, I was rude before. I apologize for that. I've been searching in the Void Marketplace for more than 100 years. I think only Pill Divine Yi can concoct such pill, that's why I waited here for so long. I want to invite Pill Divine Yi to come with me to the Guangyuan Palace. I can agree to any conditions Pill Divine Yi has. Chow, he clearly wasn't a good talker. Yemo wasn't going to go with him just because he said that. Yemo stared at Chow he and said, I'm very busy now, and you can ask me to help concoct pills. Bring the materials over and I can do one for you. The cost is 100 million God crystals and I'll give you 30% of the pills. I'm not going to go with you. 1 million God crystals for 1 cauldron of pills seemed like an absurd price, but Yemo knew this price wasn't much. Chow, he pleaded him like this, so it definitely was no simple pill. Perhaps it was even Dao Essence God pill. For a cauldron of Dao Essence God pill, people would be willing to pay a few 100 million. Plus, 30% wasn't little. Chow, he frowned bitterly and said, Pill Divine Yi, if that would work, I would definitely bring the materials over for you to concoct. It's just that the materials can't be brought here. That's why I want to ask Pill Divine Yi to come to Guangyuan Palace. Yemo stopped and looked at Chow, he asking, what pill is it? It can't be brought over to be made. Yemo asked because he was really curious. Even if it was some god spirit herb that must be used immediately upon digging it, Chow, he would be able to bring it to him. Shaking light soul refining pill. Chow, he said and looked at Yemo. What? Yemo looked at Chow, he in shock. If it was before, he wouldn't even have heard of such pill, but after getting all the information from the murder Dao spear, he knew very clearly what the shaking light soul refining pill was. When he first knew about this pill, he even used the three-birth chant to derive it. He knew that it was impossible for such pill to be made. He didn't know why someone left such pill recipe. The reason he cared about the pill was because of its effects. This pill could condense soul and return life force. He wanted to see if this pill could save CWQ. In the vast universe, there was a condition called soul loosening. This was prenatal. There was no way to cure this. As it grew worse, the soul would eventually be annihilated. People with such condition cannot cultivate at all and are very weak. They only live till their soul is completely annihilated. This process usually isn't very long, at most 100 years. Even if the process is very long, a person who can't cultivate can only survive for 100 years. The most important thing is that this pill required 999 different types of immortal spirit herbs and God spirit herb. The main spirit herb is called shaking light herb. It's not chaos herb nor top God spirit herb, but its value is no lower than chaos herb. This herb must not be moved away. Can't see light. If it was moved or put in light, it would wither within 15 minutes. This means that even if the pill could be made, it must be made within 15 minutes. The shaking light herb took 10,000 years to mature. More important, it would only mature if it was watered with 100 million-year-old God marrow. How much would that be for 10,000 years? Other people thought that if these conditions are met, the pill could be made, but Emo knew this wasn't the case. Even if these spirit herb and God spirit herbs were mixed together, it still lacked something. It wasn't a God spirit herb, it was life force. It wasn't ordinary life force, but chaos life force. Only he had such life force. Only the chaos tree's chaos life force could ensure that the pill was concocted. How could Emo take such business? Even if there was the shaking light herb, Emo would reject without hesitation. These thoughts spun rapidly in his head. Then Emo sneered at Xiao. He's sorry. Ask for someone else powerful. You've been in the void marketplace for more than 100 years, and you want me to concoct the shaking light soul refining pill to save someone with a loosened soul. Even if your palace lord has heaven-shocking power to preserve that person from dying, that person can't be saved. Do as you please. Hearing this, Xiao, he was instead very surprised and joyful. He knelt down in front of Emo and said, Please help pill divine Yi. My palace lord has 3 shaking light herb. He invited 2 of the top pill divines, but they had to rely on the palace lord to provide the recipe. You can imagine the result. There's only 1 shaking light herb left. If pill divine you don't help, then no one can concoct such pill. Emo didn't expect a Tao Essence Divine Emperor peak stage would kneel down in front of all these people on the streets. Emo frowned. Get up and talk. Yes. Xiao, he was very obedient this time and got up immediately. Emo didn't have a good feeling. Xiao, he was a Tao Essence Divine Emperor peak stage and was willing to kneel to him. Didn't that mean the Palace Lord Wuxia? Primordial Essence Divine Emperor? If a Primordial Essence Divine Emperor thought he could concoct the pill, how can he get away? Although he had the means to kill Tao Essence Divine Emperor, it wasn't enough to protect himself in the universe. Xiao, he said, our Palace Lord said if someone can concoct the shaking light pill, he's willing to give 10 extreme grade God spirit range, 10 billion God crystals and 100 drops of 100 million year God marrow, 10 Tao fruits and your selection of 3 extreme grade God artifacts. You can even ask for primordial spirit artifacts. Hearing this payment, Emo took in a cold breath. He had always thought he was wealthy, but compared to this offer, he was a beggar. There was this many things, how could he reject it? This was a test of heart. If he wanted to concoct pills, he would have to use the Chaos Tree life force. If he didn't use the life force, it would be a waste too. Emo hesitated for half a day and said, I'm busy now, so I can't go with you. Xiao, he said without hesitation, it's fine. I'm not busy, I can follow you. When you have time, you can come with me. Pill Divine Yi can consider me an errand boy. If you need me to do anything, just tell me. Emo thought about the upcoming Tao fruit distribution gathering and nodded. Then stay with me. It might take 100 years. If you can't wait that long, then there's nothing I can do. The reason Emo said 100 years was because he felt his power was a bit too low to go to a primordial essence's place to concoct pills. The reward was good, but he needed to be able to protect him. That meant that before he reached Tao Essence Divine Emperor, it was best that he didn't go. No matter how good the things were, he would need to have the life to use it. Chow, he quickly said, no need. When our young mistress was born, her soul was loose. The palace lord immediately planted 3 shaking light herb and used death Dao fruit to preserve her life for 1,000,000 years. Now, it has been 10,000 years. It's a bit hard to preserve her soul from loosening, but it should last a few hundred years. Emo sighed. This Guang Yuan palace lord was really wealthy. He could easily take out something like death Dao fruit. Emo nodded, okay. I am staying at Void Star Immortal Rest Tower for now. 9 days later I will be going to the God Rank Square for the Dao Fruit Tower spot distribution gathering. Wait for me there. Emo didn't intend to get Xiao He to help, but he was Dao Essence Peak Stage. He would be useful around him. Yes, I understand. Xiao He saw Emo, said nothing more and quickly left. When Emo entered the Void Star Immortal Rest Tower, the attendants came to greet him before he even took out his jade card. During these 9 days, Emo didn't go out. He just stayed inside thinking about the things he would face. He wasn't worried at all about the spot distribution gathering. He was thinking about if he should help that primordial essence palace lord concoct pills. If he did, he would get resources he had dreamed of, but there was equally as much danger. If he didn't go, all these good things would disappear and he might have to face the hunt of a primordial essence divine emperor. Emo hadn't seen a primordial essence divine emperor before, but he knew they definitely weren't simple. Time flew by and 9 days were gone. Xinghong was worried about Emo, but he didn't ask Emo to concoct pills these few days. If he did, that would mean he was scared that Emo would be killed at the gathering. The God Rank Square was enormous. There were restrictions and formations everywhere. At the top, there were 2 stone tablets that soared high into the clouds. The tablet was golden and the words on it were white. The other tablet was white color, but the words were golden. Emo looked at these 2 tablets and knew they were the God and Divine rank of the Void Marketplace. The golden tablet was probably the God rank and the white one was the Divine rank. Each tablet had a huge stage before it. There were restrictions all around the stage. Emo's spirit sense scanned and immediately knew these 2 stages were for the challengers. The restrictions around them were so powerful that Emo guessed even Dao Essence Masters might not be able to break it. There were a lot of people on the square, but because this square was simply too big, there actually didn't seem to be that many people. Pill Divine Yi. When Emo was still studying the stages, Chow He already came to Emo and greeted him. Just when Emo wanted to speak, he heard a cold voice, Luo Qinghe. Since you came then, accept my challenge. From today onwards, the 383rd place on the God rank belongs to me, Wukong. Then, a man wearing black robes landed on the stage. This person was Dao Actualization Peak Stage. His face was already white, but with the black clothes he was wearing, it seemed even more pale. He had waves of demonic qi circulating around him. Anyone could tell he was a demon race Dao Actualization Divine Emperor. Cocky words. The next moment, a blue immortal robed man landed on the stage. Emo was surprised. This Luo Qinghe was a Dao Actualization Divine Emperor Peak Stage 2, but this person was also human. Ever since coming to the Void Marketplace, Emo had the feeling that the human race was very weak and timid. He didn't expect there was human race Divine Emperor on the God rank. It seemed that Xinghong didn't lie to him. There were 2 human Divine Emperors on the God rank. Where was the other one? The demon race Dao Actualization Divine Emperor saw Luo Qinghe get up, and he couldn't even be bothered talking as he released a golden demonic whip. In that instant, the stage was covered by dark light, but there was golden color amidst this dark light. Luo Qinghe didn't retreat at all. He released a blue long sword at the same time. It also turned into a blue veil of swords. There was spirit sense barrier on the stage, so everyone could only watch with their eyes. People could only see clashes of blue and black rays. They couldn't tell who had the upper hand. Emo's spirit sense couldn't scan in too. He had spirit sense cultivation method, but he couldn't publicly break the rules. When he was thinking about who would win, he noticed something. That blue sword shadow gave him an extremely familiar feeling. He had seen such cultivation method before. Soon Emo remembered. The blue sword shadow was the same origin as the cultivation method Su Changji used. Su Changji was his martial brother. a disciple he took for his master. He changed up Su Changji's cultivation method, and that cultivation method was called Qing He God Cultivation Chant. Thinking about how this person was called Luo Qinghe, Emo realized. He was certain that Su Changji's cultivation method was left behind by this Luo Qinghe. This meant that Luo Qinghe had been to Luo Yu continent. Emo sighed. The universe was vast, but once your cultivation level reached a certain stage, this endless universe would become small. Luo Qinghe came to the void marketplace and made a name for himself. He even became a divine emperor on the god rank. The two were invisible to the crowd. There was just clashes of black whip shadows and blue sword shadows with intense sounds. In a violent beast-like roar, the audience saw a black beast shadow. Emo immediately recognized this was a mist demon beast. This one was countless times stronger than the one he had seen before. Everyone could tell that Wukong released this mist demon beast. It was extremely real and could even devour sword shadow. As the beast came out, Luo Qinghe's sword shadow loosened up. Darkness started to enclose the stage. Everyone knew that Luo Qinghe had half lost already. Even Emo thought Luo Qinghe was going to lose and become food to the mist demon beast. Emo sighed. He knew that on such stage, unless you surrendered and your opponent was willing to let you leave, there was no way out. Emo really wanted to save Luo Qinghe, but he knew he didn't have the right to. Just when the blue sword shadow was about to disappear, there was suddenly a terrifying howl. Then, everyone saw that a dark red puppet appeared on the stage. It was extremely agile and easily tore the mist demon beast to pieces. Emo nodded. This puppet was very high level and had its own consciousness. Luo Qinghe seemed to have good fortune. Luo Qinghe was angered by the mist demon beast. His blue sword shadow became condensed and pierced into Wu Kang's forehead. Wukong seemed to be possessed and just stood still there. The blue sword shadow instantly blew Wu Kang's head apart. As soon as Wu Kang's essence spirit escaped, it was annihilated by the puppet. Seeing this, Emo knew that Luo Qinghe definitely knew a spirit sense cultivation method. No wonder he could ambush. Luo Qinghe took Wu Kang's things and jumped off the stage. Kid, how dare you ask people for help on a god rank challenge? You can leave your life here today. As soon as Luo Qinghe got off the stage, a bleak, murderous voice sounded. At the same time, a powerful red light hacked down. Luo Qinghe barely released his blue sword that blocked the red beam a bit. However, that red beam was much stronger. Luo Qinghe was struck by the red beam and spat mouthfuls of blood in the air. ATM. The red figure landed on the square. His powerful blood-colored killing intent and Tao Essence Divine Emperor Qi circulated around him. On the God rank square, you, a Tao Essence Divine Emperor, attacked me. A Tao actualization, disregarding the rules? Luo Qinghe spoke while spitting blood. You hit a puppet on the stage. That's like 2 against 1 fighting Wukong. You broke the rules first, why can't I attack you? That Tao Essence Divine Emperor said coldly and was about to attack again. There were many human race divine emperors, but none of them dared to speak. They knew that if they said anything, they would be killed. Luo Qinghe felt despaired. He wanted to use this opportunity to enter the Tao Fruit Tower and reach Tao Essence. However, this caused Tao Essence Master to kill him. Despite this, there was no way he was going to give up. Is your mouth on your butt, or are your eyes on your asshole? Why are your words so full of shit? How come I saw one of them using a mist demon beast and one used a puppet? Just when this Tao Essence Divine Emperor wanted to attack again, a contemptuous voice interrupted him. This demon divine immediately stared at Emo. When he saw that Emo was a human Tao actualization divine emperor, his murderous force materialized, cracking up the nearby restrictions. Not only him but all the other divine emperors in the square looked at Emo in shock. They didn't get it. Emo was a Tao actualization divine emperor and dared to speak like this to a Tao essence divine emperor? This was suicide. Even if Emo was a human too, such actions weren't appreciated by them. Luo Qinghe also looked at Emo in confusion. He didn't expect there to be such hot-blooded divine emperor. He knew it was suicide and still dared to curse a Tao essence divine emperor. Pill divine Yi, it's a mere Tao essence. Leave it to me. He saw the opportunity to help Emo and immediately said. With this, the demon divine immediately calmed down. He was Tao Essence Divine Emperor peak stage and seemed much stronger than him. He's blue color also materialized around him. That would only form through constant slaughter. Plus, he knew He had been in the void marketplace for more than 100 years. He killed God rank 127 Bailey Hong as a Tao Essence Divine Emperor, but no one looked for his trouble. I'm Demon Race Xiang. You're a Tao Essence Divine Emperor. Are you going to help such rude human Tao actualization? Xiang slightly collected his red chi. The nearby people realized. No wonder this Tao actualization Divine Emperor dared to speak to Xiang like this. He had a Tao Essence Divine Emperor to back him up. Emo signaled He to not talk. He walked up and said, "This has nothing to do with the rest of the people. Xiang, you're a Tao Essence Divine Emperor and you're oppressing a Tao Actualization Divine Emperor. Do you have no shame?" Emo didn't want to owe He yet. If He helped him and he didn't help concoct pills, he would owe He a huge favor. Emo hated owing people favors. Plus, he really didn't consider this demon Tao essence a threat. Hearing this, Xiang rejoiced and spoke before he could. "I'm the representative for the demon race at this spot distribution gathering. Wukong and Luo Qinghe were fighting for the god rank, but that's also for a spot entering the Tao Fruit Tower. Of course I have the right to manage this. Who are you? Are you planning to intervene too?" Because he was watching on the side. Xiang didn't dare to be too harsh. He started to speak with reason. If he gained a foothold there and he still dared to attack, he would immediately ask the Tao Essence Masters of the Square to attack. Meanwhile, he could kill Emo and Luo Qinghe. Some people have recognized Pill Divine Yi and started discussing on the side. Emo smiled, "You're right. I'm the person representing the human race for this gathering. How come you have the right to intervene but I don't? Do you think your demon race is going to oppress all the races? Do you think you're the strongest? What? You're the one representing the human race." Xiang didn't dare to believe this. Did Emo desperately want to die? Although there was He on the side, he couldn't help in this. Only people of their own races could help them. He clearly wasn't human race. He wouldn't even be able to enter. What? There's someone to represent the human race for this gathering? Human race re-entering the Tao Fruit Tower distribution gathering. Human Tao Actualization Pill Divine participating the Tao Fruit Tower distribution. In a short while, this news spread out. In the void marketplace, all those humans who heard this headed to the God Rank Square. This was the first time they had heard in countless years that there was someone representing the human race. This was definitely a shocking news. Even if they only got one spot, this would mean that human race was speaking up amongst the races. They would no longer be abused and just tolerate it. Luo Qinghe was shaking in excitement. He wanted to reach Tao Essence quickly just so he could represent the human race and participate in this gathering. Although he knew that even if he reached Tao Essence, he wouldn't be able to get a spot at the gathering. He was long sick of humans being oppressed in the void marketplace. He might not be able to change the status of the human race, but he would let all the other races know that human race still existed. Xiang immediately realized that Emo wasn't joking. He was overjoyed upon realization. "Okay, since you're representing the human race, then I formally challenge you now. We'll talk on the stage." Xiang breathed out his annoyance. He finally had a proper reason to kill Emo. Even he didn't dare to stop him. Emo was waiting for Xiang to say this. Even if Xiang didn't say this, he would kill this demon Tao Essence Divine Emperor in front of everyone. He killed a demon race Divine Emperor when he was only Tao Nourishment. Now that he was Tao Actualization Peak Stage, how could there be a problem? Just when Emo was about to fight with Xiang, a voice sounded in everyone's ears. "All the Divine Emperors representing their races for this gathering, please enter the square now. The gathering shall begin." A sliver of disappointment flashed across Xiang's eyes, but then he smiled to Emo very well. "You can live a little longer. I will still come after you on this gathering. Leave behind your last wishes unless you cower on the side and not even take one spot." Then Xiang flew towards the largest building on the left of the square. Xiao he saluted with his fists to Yemo. Pill divine Yi, I will wait for you at the door. Yemo glanced at Xiao he strangely. You're not worried that I can't come out? Xiao he immediately said, no, Pill divine Yi's power is probably on par with mine. He had fought with Yemo before. He already had an estimate for Yemo's power. He was certain that if Yemo fought with Gongxiang wouldn't be able to take out Yemo for sure. Okay, then wait for me, Yemo said and waddled towards that door. He would come find Luo Qinghe later. Luo Qinghe sped up to Yemo and said, thank you for helping Pill divine Yi, or I might have died already. Hearing people call Yemo Pill divine Yi at the square, he called Yemo Pill divine Yi too. Yemo smiled, wait for me on the square. After the gathering I'll come talk to you. I have some things to ask you. Luo Qinghe quickly said, Pill divine Yi. Each race can bring 2 members of their race to the gathering. If Pill divine Yi is alone, I'm willing to go with Pill divine Yi. Yemo was very happy with Luo Qinghe's words. Clearly he wasn't scared of dying. Okay, then come with me. Yemo immediately agreed. Brother Yi, I'm willing to come too. Another female voice sounded. Wang Nanshuang had come up to them. There was Ji Shi and 2 other women behind her. Wang Nanshuang was from the Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect, but in Yemo's impression, she was a good person. However, there was no need for her to join the gathering. Even though she was Dao Actualization Divine Emperor, her power was far weaker than Luo Qinghe. No need. Yemo was blunt. Wang Nanshuang was desperate and quickly said, Brother Yi, now's not the time for personal conflicts. I know Brother Yi has bad views of the Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect, but if there's the chance to contribute to the human race, the Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect will not fall behind. Since I said that I will be joining this gathering, then I won't retreat no matter how hard it is. At most, it's just death. Plus, other races have 3 people going. If we only have 2, it won't seem good. Yemo thought for a moment and said, you're right. Then let's go together. Brother Yi, I'll go with you too. Dong'an came over too. Yemo smiled, each race is only allowed to have 3 in total going. We already have 3 now. Just wait outside for our good news. When Yemo brought Luo Qinghe and Wang Nanshuang into the palace, there were already nearly 100 people sitting inside. The seats were clearly divided into groups of 3, clearly representing a power or race. The seats were also placed that one was slightly in front and 2 slightly behind. Yemo studied this palace. This place was very spacious. One couldn't even see the top of the palace. Yemo knew this was due to formation. There was also a nearly 60 m in diameter stand at the center of the palace. The restrictions around it was no weaker than the restrictions on the God Rank Square stage. Yemo knew this was also another battle stage. This stage was probably for battle when 2 parties disagreed between distribution. There was a dark red aura around the border of the stage. Countless divine emperors have died here. Come sit here, Pill divine Yi. Xinghong saw Yemo and quickly greeted. Brother Xing, you're here too? Yemo said. Xinghong came back, he wasn't sitting on the main seat. The divine emperor sitting on the main seat had much stronger qi than Xinghong. Xinghong smiled, of course. I'm representing the Void Marketplace Merchant Tower. We have the right to compete for spots. Human race is participating too this time. People were immediately shocked upon seeing Yemo and them come in. 3 Dao Actualization Divine Emperors coming to this Dao Fruit Distribution gathering? What is this? Are they here to prove they have courage? Discussions went on non-stop, but no one came looking for their trouble, probably because seeing Yemo greet Xinghong. Luo Qinghe didn't know that Yemo knew Xinghong. He admired Yemo even more. Who haven't heard of Xinghong's name in the Void Marketplace? The 3 didn't sit for long and tens more people came into the palace. In total, there was about 130 people in the palace. This meant that there was nearly 50 powers or races here. The last to enter was a gray-robed divine emperor. He looked ordinary and his chi was much weaker than the rest of the divine emperors here, but Yemo could tell this person was a halfway primordial essence, a very powerful halfway primordial essence. He walked to the top seat of the palace and saluted with his fists, saying, Welcome immortal friends of all the realms and races to the Void Marketplace spot distribution gathering. Many divine emperors here know me, and of course there are some new divine emperors who haven't heard of me. I'll introduce myself. I'm from the Void Marketplace. My divine name is Kong Han. This time, Tian Rui Divine Emperor and I will be impartially conducting this distribution. When Kong Han finished, an ordinary-looking old man suddenly appeared next to him. He looked even weaker than Kong Han Divine Emperor. But some divine emperors realized that this ordinary old man was even stronger than Kong Han. Emo knew this was another halfway primordial essence. This old man said, "I'm Tian Rui. Now let the gathering begin." Tian Rui then shut his eyes as though everything else had nothing to do with him. Kong Han Divine Emperor smiled. What's worth mentioning is that this time, there is the human race and shadow race. Kong Han continued, because many of the God-ranked divine emperors couldn't come back to the Void Marketplace in time and some races not coming. There's an extra 193 spots on the Dao Fruit Tower. Emo heard this and was shocked. He didn't expect there would be this many Dao Fruit Tower spots. There's 46 seats to be distributed. According to the old rules, these spots will be shared evenly. Does anyone object? Kong Han said and looked at the people. Kong Han meant seats that were at the front. This meant that there was 46 races of powers to be represented. We're fine, the representatives of different races said. Emo was dazed. Was the gathering this simple? All the spots were shared evenly and no one objected? Plus, there were 46 powers, the 193 spots can't be divided evenly. Why did no one say anything? After waiting for a while and no one said anything, Emo said something. Kong Han Divine Emperor Master, I object. Emo got up and saluted with his fists. Almost everyone looked at Emo. Object to what now? Why would you object to Kong Han Divine Emperor? Fool! That demon Dao essence sneered at Emo. Kong Han Divine Emperor was very shocked that a Dao actualization Divine Emperor dared to object in this. He looked at Emo with interest. You're the representative for the human race, right? What objections do you have? Emo said loudly, "This is my first time coming to the gathering, so I want to ask, does the 193 spots include the 30 spots the human race deserves?" Kong Han said, "Yes. The human race didn't come to this gathering multiple times, so these 30 spots were considered extra ones." Kong Han Divine Emperor Master, would the spots of other races be considered extra? If other races don't share their spots evenly but just the human race has to, then how is this fair? Emo said. Kong Han Divine Emperor dazed. There were human representatives before, but they didn't make the same request as Emo and didn't dare to bring up the human race had 30. Yet, this Dao actualization Divine Emperor dared to make such request. Ha ha ha! Emo's words made the palace erupt into laughter. Even Xinghong looked down. Luo Qinghe and Wang Nanshuang were dazed. They came here with Emo so the human race wouldn't keep declining. They were ready to die, but they weren't ready for Emo making such terrifying claims. They just wanted to get 1 or 2 spots and then leave. Yet, Emo asked for the 30 spots the human race had before. Kong Han Divine Emperor didn't laugh and pressed with his hand for the laughter to stop. Then he looked at Emo and said, "But there were past representatives who didn't make this claim. After all, it's been too long since the human race quit the gathering." Kong Han Divine Emperor sighed. He liked Emo's courage, so he wanted to tell Emo inadvertently that even if he took all 193 spots now and people agreed, it was useless, as this was only the first step to the distribution. The second and third was the most important. No one cared how many spots people got at the first step. That's because I didn't come. If I came, I would have long made such request. Emo said. Human representative wants to take back the 30 spots that belong to them. Does anyone object? Kong Han heard this and just asked everyone. Gong Xiang immediately got up and said, "We have no objections, of course. The 30 spots of the human race belongs to them. Of course, since the human race hasn't been to the gathering for so long, their 30 spots can only be treated as extra spots to be given to them. The next time, it can be considered their permanent spots." Gong Xiang's words were completely reasonable, and it seemed he was even thinking for the human race. Emo completely understood what was going on. Giving the spots to him as extra spots meant that it could be robbed through challenges. Permanent spots were permanent. People didn't have a right to challenge and take it. The more extra spots he took here, the more challenges he would have to accept. That meant the more chances he would get killed. Kong Han Divine Emperor looked at everyone. What does everyone think of Immortal Friends Gong's suggestion? All the races approved immediately. Kong Han Divine Emperor looked at Emo with a strange glance. Now that everyone agreed to let you take back the 30 spots, do you have any other requests? Hearing this, Emo could tell this Kong Han was completely neutral and saluted with his fists. Thank you, Kong Han Divine Emperor. I'll only take back what's mine. Okay. Then in that case, there's 163 spots remaining for even distribution. Everyone will get 3 spots, but the 4th round isn't enough for everyone. Wherever the distribution stops, that's it. This meant that those sitting at the front could get 4 spots and those sitting at the back could only get 3. People already knew this rule here. Those who didn't want too many spots sat at the back. Pill Divine Yi, I don't think it's good that we asked for 30 spots. Luo Qinghe said quietly. Emo didn't mind, we need to take back what belongs to us. What doesn't belong to us, we don't need to fight for it. Kong Han Divine Emperor acted like Tianrui Divine Emperor and said nothing after the first round finished. It was as though the two just came to watch the show. Emo was sitting at the front, so the human race got 34 spots altogether. Then he saw the numbers floating above each race represented that the spots for the Dao Fruit Tower they got. The God race is willing to give 2 spots to the Abyssal race and 1 to the Aquarius race. A blue-faced Divine Emperor immediately got up. Abyssal race accepts. A bleak Divine Emperor got up and said. Emo noticed this guy before as he was the representative for the Abyssal race. Emo planned to talk to him after the gathering. Then, the number above them changed to 6 from 4. Aquarius race agrees. An Aquarius race Divine Emperor got up and the number from the God race disappeared. So this is transfer of spots. Wang Nanshuang said. This way, weak races could give spots to powerful races. Earth Elf race is willing to give spot to Dragon race. Dragon race accepts. Blood race is willing to transfer spot to Demon race. Some were transferring spots, some were accepting spots. Emo and them stayed silent. If they weren't afraid that their permanent spots would be taken, many races definitely wouldn't come here. Dragon race, Phoenix race, they were so powerful that they left the monster race and became their own race. Even here, they had their own spots. Emo didn't get up. He didn't plan to give his spots away nor ask for spots. This round soon ended. Emo noticed that it was powerful races accepting spots, for example, the Beast race, Demon race, Abyssal race, Dragon race, Aquarius race. The ones giving spots were weaker ones such as Bug race, Earth DF race, Shadow race. There are small portions of races who didn't give nor accept races. Powerful races like the Demon race had accepted more than 20 spots. Even Abyssal race and Aquarius race got more than 10. Then, everyone set their gazes on Emo. The 34 spots was a huge piece of meat. To everyone, it was just temporarily placed with Emo. Now, it was time to split it. Demon race Dao Essence Divine Emperor Gongxiang immediately stood out and landed on the round stage. He saluted with his fists to Kong Han and Tianrui before staying at Emo. The demon race will take 5 of the human race spots. If the human race don't agree, then Gongxiang will represent the demon race to challenge human race Divine Emperor. Pill Divine Yi, I'll go. Luo Qinghe knew it was suicide, but it was worse than death for him to be timid. Plus, Emo offended Gongxiang due to him, and that's why Gongxiang challenged first. Emo patted Luo Qinghe's shoulder, signaling him not to do. Then, Xinghong's voice sounded by his ear, Pill Divine Yi. Give the spot to him, and he has no reason to challenge. Emo nodded to Xinghong in gratitude and walked up to the stage and saluted with his fists to the 2 half-primordial essence Divine Emperors. The human race shall take 5 of the demon race's spots. If the demon race don't agree, then I, Emo, shall represent the human race to challenge demon race Divine Emperor. The gathering had been very serious ever since the 2 half-primordial essences came out, but now due to Yemo's words, it became noisy. Just what balls did this human Dao actualization Divine Emperor eat? Was he worried that he wouldn't die a pitiful enough death? Why did he try to infuriate the demon Tao essence like this? Even Tianrui suddenly opened his eyes and looked at Emo. He didn't understand. Courage was necessary, but it wasn't worth to die for it like this. This was being stupid. Kong Han Divine Emperor's eyes flashed with surprise. Then he said calmly, "Okay. Now, the Demon Race Divine Emperor Gongxiang will battle Human Race Divine Emperor Emo. The losing side will give out 5 spots." As soon as he said this, the restrictions of the stage had been opened. Gongxiang's blood qi filled the entire stage, mixing with his Tao Essence Divine Emperor. It was as though this stage would become his own realm. He was certain that Emo would barely be able to move, much less fight him. Even so, he didn't want Emo to die easily. He released his magic artifact Demon Blood Blade. A blood mark that crossed space came above Yemo's head. He was going to destroy Yemo's body as quickly as possible and then capture his essence spirit and torture him slowly. How dare a Tao Actualization Divine Emperor be this cocky to him? Yemo felt this blood realm and knew that Gongxiang was weaker than the Demon Tao Essence Divine Emperor he killed before. He didn't need Zissou to kill him. But Yemo didn't plan to not use Zissou. Hiding his strength here wasn't good. He was going to kill Gongxiang with lightning speed and shock everyone. Otherwise, he might face endless challenges today. He didn't fear these challenges, but every time he killed someone, he would offend that power. Yemo didn't want to offend too many. Yemo's domain suddenly burst out. His domain was beginning to form a realm too. It made Gongxiang's realm crumble rapidly. Yemo even stacked on top his powerful spirit sense realm. Gongxiang's blood realm was instantly pulverized. The blood qi circulated around him blew out like feathers. The next moment, Gongxiang felt the space between him and Yemo freeze. The instant he felt this, he knew that he had underestimated Yemo. This was ice space god art. It can only be used with certain level of space law and ice law knowledge. Gongxiang's knowledge of space law was inadequate and his space law god art couldn't even materialize. The demon blood blade immediately stopped. Yemo wasn't affected at all by his blood realm, and the moment space froze. A purple sword ray was hacked out. Gongxiang broke free from ice space instantly, and just when he wanted to seal this purple sword ray, he found that this sword ray carried a vast and extreme lethal force pressure that drew away all the surrounding lethal force. This wasn't just sword domain lethal force, but also world lethal force. Yemo didn't even use a god art on this strike. It was just an ordinary swing with the broken ice space god art. Ice space was broken, but it still affected Gongxiang. However, what killed Gongxiang wasn't ice space but this sword, primordial spirit artifact. Gongxiang looked at the purple sword ray slice over his body in despair and called out, "Such dominating primordial lethal force. What else could it be other than the best primordial spirit artifact?" The insect in his eyes instantly killed him in a duel with him. As soon as Gongxiang's essence spirit came out, it was grinded by Yemo's purple sword ray and disappeared. The blood qi disappeared and a demon blood blade fell on the ground. Zissou returned to its ordinary look and was put into storage ring by Yemo. Yemo waved up the demon blood blade and a storage ring and walked off the stage. He was quite shocked and happy. He knew his powers had increased a few levels, but only now did he realize to what extent. Zissou was an important factor, but Yemo was certain that without Zissou, he could still kill Gongxiang. When Yemo killed Gongxiang and walked out of the stage, the entire palace was silent. Then, the palace erupted in noises. Everyone looked at Yemo with different eyes. Even the two halfway primordial essence looked at Yemo strangely. It was simple for them to kill a Tao Essence Divine Emperor, but a Tao Actualization Divine Emperor killing a Tao Essence Divine Emperor this easily was too astounding. There were Tao Actualization Divine Emperors who killed Tao Essence Divine Emperor in the Void Marketplace, but it was too rare. They were absurdly talented, and even that they would need to have an intense battle to kill a Tao Essence Divine Emperor. But what was Yemo? He was a Tao Actualization primary stage, and he could kill a Tao Essence Divine Emperor this easily. This was too scary. This battle is won by human race Yemo demon race. Give 5 spots to the human race. When Yemo went back to his seat, Kong Han finally announced the results. Luo Qinghe and Wang Nanshuang also waited till Yimo came back to his seat before getting up in surprise and joy. Pill Divine Yi, you actually won? And this easily too? Luo Qinghe still didn't believe this was real. Wang Nanshuang knew how absurd Yimo was. He could kill Dao Actualization Divine Emperor when he was only Dao Molding Divine Emperor. Now that he was Dao Actualization Divine Emperor, it wasn't impossible for him to kill Dao Essence Divine Emperor. The only thing she didn't expect was it to be this easy. But to them, the stronger Yimo was the better. The other two Demon Dao Essence Divine Emperor still didn't believe their Dao Essence Demon Divine would be killed by a human Dao Actualization, especially instant killed. Gong Xiang represented the demon race, but he wasn't the leader. The Dao Essence Demon Divine sitting next to him got up and stared at Yimo with killing intent. Just when he wanted to speak, he was pushed down by the Demon Divine sitting in front. You're no match for him. His ordinary purple sword is probably a primordial spirit artifact. I'll see the attitude of other races. If no one attacks, I will. The Demon Divine calmed down. He knew he was no match for Yimo, but he couldn't just take it that a Demon Dao essence was killed by a human Dao actualization. When Yimo sat down, the number above his head went from 34 to 39. Many people recognized that Yimo's Zisu was a primordial spirit artifact. There was limited numbers of primordial spirit artifact in the universe. People knew almost 99% of them, but they had never seen Yimo's purple sword. When many people were watching Yimo, a powerful spirit sense scanned at Yimo too. This spirit sense seemed to want to ambush Yimo's sea of consciousness. Yimo immediately used Spirit Sense 9 transformations and released a Spirit Sense net, grinding the Spirit Sense to nothing. However, Yimo couldn't find the owner of the Spirit Sense. The serious silence didn't last for long, when a Dao essence drenched in water came up and screeched, Aquarius race Sun Tai will take one spot of the winged race. If you don't agree, then come up. Yimo looked at the three from the winged race. They were all Dao Essence Divine Emperor, but Yimo could tell none of them could beat Sun Tai. It also seemed that they were more adept at fighting in spacious areas, not small confinements. The winged race got up and said, Winged race don't want to fight. Take the spot. Winged race now already gave out 3 spots, but now, their last spot was taken. Aquarius race was probably annoyed that they didn't get one of the 3 spots. There were other divine emperors challenging each other, but no one challenged Yimo. Yimo didn't plan to challenge anyone else. Abyssal race want 5 human race spots. If the human race don't agree, come up and challenge me. Zhongli Huayin. People immediately looked over when someone challenged human race Yimo again. Although they knew people would eventually challenge human race, they didn't expect it was abyssal race. Yimo frowned. He had things to discuss with them, but they wanted his spots. This wasn't the Dao Essence Divine Emperor he was watching, but they would be sure to have conflict. Yimo didn't want conflict with the abyssal race, but he had no choice. He got up without hesitation. Don't even dream about taking the human race spots. As for your challenge, I accept. Seeing Yimo not ask for abyssal race spots and just accepted the challenge, people on the side were confused. When Demon Race challenged Yimo, Yimo chose to challenge them too and took 5 spots from them. Now that Yimo didn't challenge them back, it was really strange. Was it that this Dao Actualization Divine Emperor knew abyssal race was the strongest and didn't dare to anger them too much? Zhongli Huayin was Dao Essence Peak Stage Power. He was from the abyssal race, but he didn't look like one at all. He carried cold chi, but his body was very material. His face was ruddy. He seemed more like a human. When the stage restrictions were activated, he didn't attack immediately, and instead looked at Yimo and asked, Is the purple sword you took out before a primordial spirit artifact? Yimo's face sunk. He wanted to connect with the abyssal race, but this didn't mean they could sit on his head. Zhongli, who clearly wanted his Zisu and thus came to challenge him. This guy was probably scared of Zisu being taken away, but also didn't want to rob something that wasn't a primordial spirit artifact and cause misunderstanding. I can answer the question, but you need to answer my question too. Yimo said emotionlessly. Zhongli, who frowned and said in contempt, What thing do you think you are? You dare to ask me a question? Hurry up and answer. Just because you have a spirit sense cultivation method for sneak attacks doesn't mean you're strong. This arrogant guy that he used spirit sense cultivation method to kill Gong Xiang. Realizing this, Yemo knew Zhongli, who was the one who ambushed him with spirit sense. No wonder he was so bold to come challenge him. Yemo couldn't even be bothered talking. He released Zisu and extended his primary form of realm. When Yemo didn't ask for abyssal race spots, Zhongli, who knew that Yemo was concerned with him or the abyssal race. He didn't expect the Dao actualization divine emperor who was scared of his race dare to attack first. Zhongli, who extended his powerful realm domain. Most of the people at Dao Essence already had somewhat of a realm domain. Meanwhile, Primordial Essence Divine Emperor's realm domain was pretty much formed and almost about to become a realm. Zhongli, who attacked with full power, not holding back. He was going to crush Yemo with his domain and let him know that spirit sense cultivation method couldn't ambush everyone. Their realm domains clashed together. Powerful space ripples spread. Yemo's realm domain was completely fine, but Zhongli, whose realm domain had cracks. In just that clash, Zhongli, who was shook. He felt he was too impulsive. Yemo's power definitely wasn't just spirit sense ambush. Yemo's domain had the primary form of a realm domain. Although Yemo's realm domain looked weaker than his, it was much more durable. Purple sword ray fell. A huge white drum suddenly appeared above Zhongli, whose head. Zisu's powerful and vast lethal force was opened a little crack by the drum. Zhongli, who instantly fled from the crack. The purple sword ray struck the drum, and the drum made an ear-piercing cracking sound before turning into hundreds of white beams and disappearing from the stage. On the other side, Zhongli, who looked dazedly at his magic artifact that crumbled in one clash and was speechless. This person definitely wasn't Dao Actualization Divine Emperor. That was Zhongli, whose conclusion. Since they were already fighting, Yemo didn't intend to stop. His released Zisu again, and this time it was Sword God Art Falling Mark Sword Rune. Yemo had never felt as satisfied as today fighting people with Zisu. Zisu's powerful primordial lethal force completely suppressed the magic artifact of the opponent. It was no longer the situation where his magic artifact was always weaker. A purple sword ray that almost twisted the entire stage smashed down. The Divine Emperors outside couldn't scan this sword rune with their spirit sense, but the powerful lethal force and tearing chi was visible to the eye. This was no sword rune. This was destructive lethal force. Even Yemo was shocked. He even felt that he couldn't control this sword rune. This sword rune was about to hack open the restriction on the stage and tear open this world. A shock lightning appeared in Yemo's sea of consciousness. Yemo immediately became vigilant. His spirit sense immediately swept the falling mark sword rune, making it pause for a bit. Zisu had been spirit controlled by him, but Yemo still felt that the sword rune was spreading. This made his body go soft. One moment later, his sea of consciousness was shook and injured. His god essence was greatly depleted. Despite this, he felt that Zisu come back under his control. Yemo subconsciously breathed easy. He was shocked at just what the material that upgraded Zisu was. This material formed Murder Dao Spear, and Murder Dao Spear killed countless owners. Now that he upgraded Zisu with it, it still had this terrifying destructive force. If it was some ordinary Divine Emperor and Zisu went out of control, no one could be sure if Zisu would become a second Murder Dao Spear. Yemo wasn't worried Zisu would become a second Murder Dao Spear, as he upgraded Zisu very early on and had only used it. The reason that situation occurred was that Zisu was too strong and he was too weak. He should be more careful when he used Zisu and not fully activate it. When he reached Dao Essence, he could fully activate it with completely control. Zhongli, whose realm domain was instantly broken under that powerful twisting rune. The rune covered the entire void inside the stage. Even the restrictions and space were cracking. When this twisted purple sword rune appeared before Zhongli, who couldn't even break free from its void lethal force. He could only watch as Zisu hacked towards his forehead. At this moment, Zhongli, who finally felt Gongxiang's feeling. This wasn't spirit sense ambush, this was powerful suppression. Primordial spirit artifact plus sword Dao God art. This twisted sword rune reminded him of the ancient and ferocious great primordial god rune. If he could regret, he would never challenge Yemo. But now he felt that twisted rune pause. This pause was less than 1/10 of a second, but it was enough for him. Zhongli, who shook, and he disappeared. That twisted sword rune struck where Zhongli, who was but Zhongli, who broke free using space transition god art. This falling mark sword rune didn't kill Zhongli, who but it scared the soul out of him. The sword rune was stopped by Yi Mo midway but still shook the restrictions heavily. It was as though if Yi Mo attacked like that again, the restriction would crumble. On one corner Zhongli, who looked dazedly at Yi Mo. When Yi Mo turned around, he then remembered he was still in a battle. He released a green spear but he didn't attack again. When he saw Yi Mo was going to attack again, he finally couldn't hold it. Immortal frenzy, wait. I surrender. Yi Mo didn't stop there. He looked at Zhongli Huayin and said, when you want to fight me you fight, when you want to surrender you surrender. There's no such good thing. Do you think you're dreaming or what? I'm willing to give 5 spots to the human race. Zhongli Huayin quickly said. 5 spots before the tower was a huge wealth, but it was nothing here. He could easily rob it from another race. Yi Mo didn't put away Zissou, but he didn't keep attacking. He eased up his tone. Other than this, you need to answer a question. If I'm happy, then I can choose to not attack. The people in the palace didn't know the specific situation, but they saw the battle. Zhongli Huayin's magic artifact was broken in one clash and almost killed at the second clash. He wasn't killed because Yi Mo showed mercy. Everyone was a divine emperor here, and they all saw Yi Mo's falling mark sword rune pause. What else could it be other than showing mercy? Yi Mo didn't keep attacking and instead spoke with Zhongli Huayin clearly to discuss conditions. Kong Han and Tian Rui never even blinked during Yi Mo's battle. Now that they paused, the two glanced at each other. Their eyes were filled with shock. Yi Mo's power was definitely no weaker than them. Yi Mo was only a Tao actualization divine emperor, but they were touching the border of primordial essence. He's probably a Tao essence divine emperor, Kong Han said slowly. He didn't believe a Tao actualization divine emperor would really be this powerful. Tian Rui didn't answer directly. Instead, he said, did you see his sword rune? It's a bit strange. You're saying it's great primordial god rune? Kong Han reacted quickly. Even if Tian Rui didn't say it, he suspected that Yi Mo's sword rune was similar to great primordial god rune. However, even though they were managing the gathering, their spirit sense couldn't scan in. Tian Rui nodded. It does look like great primordial god rune. Plus, that great primordial god rune paused, allowing Zhongli Huayin to escape. It might not be Yi Mo showing mercy. What? Kong Han looked at Tian Rui in shock. That was clearly Yi Mo showing mercy. Tian Rui shook his head. I'm just guessing. I'm not sure. I didn't see it from the move, but Yi Mo as a person. He's very decisive in killing Gong Xiang. Thus, he would not dare to kill Zhongli Huayin. Tian Rui Shadowless suddenly asked, I heard 100 years ago, in an auction at the Void Marketplace, there was not only a great primordial god rune but also 2 great primordial god rune Dao fruits. Kong Han immediately understood, but then he stared at Yi Mo in confusion. That person was a demon race divine emperor and tore open space. Tian Rui smiled but didn't talk. Even an idiot would know that with Yi Mo's primordial spirit artifact, it wasn't hard to tear open space. What question? This time Zhongli Huayin didn't dare to say Yi Mo had no right to ask him. This question had been in Yi Mo's mind for countless years, and now that he could ask, he asked immediately, if a cultivator died, would his soul appear in the abyssal realm? Zhongli Huayin didn't expect Yi Mo to ask such a simple question. He immediately answered, not necessarily. Most cultivators die with their soul annihilated. Only a small portion of cultivators' soul appear in the abyssal realm. Then, through cultivation, they would be converted to the abyssal race, or they would go through the reincarnation bridge for their next life. Is this reincarnation controlled by the abyssal realm? No, the reincarnation bridge is in the abyssal realm, but no one controls it. The abyssal realm can't control the reincarnation of cultivator souls. Then who's in control? Something we don't know. It's just like divine damnation. There's heaven Tao controlling it. Zhongli Huayin was scared Yi Mo wasn't happy with his answer and added, but because the reincarnation bridge is in the abyssal realm, souls that survive would be swept into the abyssal realm. The cultivators of the abyssal realm would grab these souls for cultivation or keeping or forgery. Hearing this, Yi Mo frowned. Wanqing was only golden core state. If her soul fell into the abyssal realm, it was more likely her soul was annihilated. Plus, her soul might have not gone to the abyssal realm. How do cultivators' souls go to the abyssal realm after death? Any realm has a portal to the abyssal realm. This portal only allows souls to pass through. After ordinary cultivators die, if they don't convert to ghost cultivators, then they would find other places in the immortal realm and then enter reincarnation. Zhongli Huiyin said, souls travel very fast and can ignore ordinary barrier. Even if the tunnel to the abyssal realm is far, they can find it in a very short time. Yemo thought of Swamp Shadow Valley. That was probably Xinqiang Continent's portal to the abyssal realm. The abyssal realm was colossal, even bigger than the divine Dao realm. How do you enter the abyssal realm? Yemo asked. Yemo pointed at the people outside. It's not easy for other races to enter the abyssal realm, but now, everyone are waiting for us to go out. If immortal friends ye have other questions, you can come to me after the Dao Fruit Tower gathering. Yemo knew he had more than just a few questions, and they were still indeed inside the battle stage. Seeing Zhongli Huiyin walk out, the other two Dao Essence Divine Emperors of the abyssal realm breathed easy. Regardless, it was good that Yemo didn't kill Zhongli Huiyin. When they heard that they needed to give 5 spots to the human race, they did so without hesitation. No one expected that at this stage, the human race had 44 spots. Luo Qinghe and Wang Nanshuang were extremely excited seeing Yemo win back 5 more spots. They didn't expect this gathering to be this safe and simple. Yemo knew that after the 2 battles, people were scared, but despite this, he saw Aquarius race and Beast race Divine Emperors staring at him eager to try. Even a Blood race Dao Essence Divine Emperor stared over. Yemo got up and said, the human race won't rob the spots of other races, but I'll make it clear. If any race thinks we're easy to abuse and wants to rob our spots, then I will take away all of his spots. Yemo's words were pretty much threats and immediately made some people unhappy. No Dao Essence Divine Emperor here was weak. They were powerful beings that crossed many realms. Many of them were on the divine rank. They were many times stronger than ordinary divine emperors. Hearing this, the leading Dao Essence Demon Divine rejoiced. Yemo was asking to die. This was starting public outrage. He said in contempt, so dominant. This is a gathering for the distribution for extra spots. Do you think all the spots of other races can be taken like yours? Even if you win, you would at most get their extra spots. Yemo knew that his words would cause public annoyance, but since he was going to assert dominance, he couldn't care about this. The Blood race thought of the Demon race as their leader. When Yemo killed a Demon Dao Essence, they were already planning to challenge Yemo. With Demon race speaking up, a Blood race Dao Essence Divine Emperor got up and walked forward. Yemo saw this and really just didn't get it. What confidence did this Dao Essence Divine Emperor have to challenge him? Was it just because he let Zhongli Huiyin go? Yemo just saluted with his fists to the 2 half-primordial essences and said, may I ask, if the 3 representing divine emperors of a race are all killed, what would happen to their permanent spots? Kong Han knew what Yemo was thinking of course, and said plainly, if all 3 representatives of a race die, then their permanent spots will be dealt with as extra spots. Hearing this, Yemo realized that the human race's permanent spots were made extra like this. But Kong Han Divine Emperor said, if the race has no extra spots and only has permanent spots, then they're not allowed to be challenged. Unless they challenge you first, there's no way you can challenge them. Thank you for enlightening me, Kong Han Divine Emperor Master. I understand. Yemo saluted with his fists, cursed the idiot who represented the human race. He definitely challenged someone and thus lost all the spots. At this moment, Xing Hong's voice sounded, Pill Divine, ye be careful. That Blood race Dao Essence Divine Emperor is on the divine rank. Be careful. Yemo stared at the Dao Essence Blood race and finally realized why he was confident to challenge him. The Blood race Dao Essence was ready to challenge Yemo, but hearing what Yemo said, he stopped. He was on the divine rank indeed, but he was ranked at the back. Seeing Yemo's 2 previous battles, he had no confidence in beating Yemo. He challenged Yemo to suck up to the demon race. Even if he was defeated, he could give something good to ask Yemo to let him live like Zhongli Huiyin. He felt that even if he was weaker than Yemo, His forbidden arts would make Emo concerned. That's why he planned to come up. Now that Emo said he would annihilate all 3 divine emperors of the blood race and kick them out of the Dao Fruit Tower, he was concerned. Even if he felt he was stronger than Emo, he couldn't afford to gamble. If the blood race lost their Dao Fruit Tower rights, then they would decline and maybe even become extinct. Many divine emperors of his race existed due to the Dao fruit from the Dao Fruit Tower. He didn't dare to make such risk. That's how the human race fell into decline. The human race was huge and had many talents. Even after being in decline for countless years, an insane prodigy like Emo arose. The blood race didn't have that confidence. If they declined, then they would truly decline and maybe disappear from the universe. Seeing this blood race Dao essence sit down, the demon Dao essence's eyes were filled with disappointment. He wanted to see Emo kill the blood race Dao essence and then draw more hate to the human race. Even if human race got more spots, he would still join up with other races to kill Emo after the tower opened. At Emo's level, ordinary Dao essence divine emperor had no threats to him. Those who could threaten him were only half primordial essence or primordial essence divine emperor. Even demon race couldn't casually call over a primordial essence divine emperor to the void marketplace to kill Emo. No one scorned the blood race Dao essence for backing out. He did seem weaker than Emo. If they dared to challenge Emo would really kill all 3 representatives. With a dominant divine emperor like Emo here, the challenges afterwards became much more tame. The abyssal race wasn't going to challenge Emo, of course. The beast and dragon race had enough spots and didn't need to offend Emo for a few more spots. The only Dao essence divine emperor who still wanted to challenge Emo was the Aquarius race one, but for some reason he resisted the urge in the end. The one who wanted to challenge Emo the most was the demon race, but they didn't have the power and thus didn't dare to. This Dao fruit distribution gathering ended like this. Emo just fought twice and got 44 spots. Everyone who was involved exclaimed. Everyone thought Emo was suicidal when he came in, but now, he got 44 spots instead. This wasn't just a matter of 44 spots. In the future gatherings, as long as human race came, then they would be able to keep at least 30 spots even if Emo didn't come. Now, it only seemed a matter of time before the fallen human race will rise back up again. Kong Han Divine Emperor got up and said, "The gathering has now concluded. All the races are very happy. 3 months later, I hope everyone has a bountiful harvest in the Dao Fruit Tower." People knew that at least the demon race wasn't happy. The 2 Dao essence demons walked out of the palace first. Then the other divine emperors followed. Because of Yemo's dominance and some people knowing that Yemo was a Dao actualization pill divine, many divine emperors came to greet Yemo. When they saw a powerful Dao essence divine emperor waiting for Yemo at the door, they knew that Yemo's power was far from what he showed. They became even more polite. Xing Hong greeted Yemo at the door and then left with the 2 other Dao essence from Void Marketplace Merchant Tower. He rejoiced even more of his decisions. He didn't use force on Yemo. When Yemo and them came out, the humans at the square all came up. They rejoiced seeing that Yemo and them were fine. "Brother Yi, I knew it was you. Haha." Xin Yushui's voice sounded. Gu Bing and Xianxia also squeezed over. When Tang Xiaoyu said Brother Yi was in danger, I didn't believe it. "See, I'm right," Xian Yushue said. Those who knew Luo Qinghe surrounded him, and people from the divine Dao realm surrounded Wang Nanshuang. The great sun god mountain Dao essence divine emperor didn't dare to come up. A powerful Dao essence divine emperor followed Yemo, and Yemo was close to that Xing Hong. He didn't dare to talk in front of Yemo. Luo Qinghe's tone was very excited. He rambled non-stop about how Yemo killed Demon Dao Essence Divine Emperor and defeated Abyssal Race Dao Essence Divine Emperor, forcing the Blood Race to back down and rob 10 spots. It was already extremely shocking that Yemo defeated Dao Essence Divine Emperor, but compared to 10 Dao Fruit Tower spots, it wasn't important. Almost all the Divine Emperors who could go in the Dao Fruit Tower looked at Yemo and Luo Qinghe, wanting to know how the spots would be distributed. Would they need to buy it or what? When the great sun god Mountain Dao Essence heard Yemo kill Gong Xiang, his heart beat extremely fast. Yemo was this absurd, he even killed Dao Essence Divine Emperor. The Tao Essence Divine Emperors entering the gathering was definitely no ordinary Tao Essence Divine Emperor. They were definitely much stronger than him. Didn't this mean that Emo could kill him like a chicken? The Great Sun God Mountain Tao Essence Divine Emperor immediately began to worry. But then he thought of Dong and was close to Emo. Perhaps Dong could beg for mercy. He saw Dong talk to Emo now, but he could only stay there nervously. Emo spoke with Dong for a bit and said, "Human race immortal friends, this time our human race went to the Tao Fruit Tower spot distribution gathering and we got a total of 44 spots." Hearing this, the crowd erupted. Almost everyone didn't dare to believe this. They thought 10 spots was shocking enough, but Emo actually got 44 spots. This was similar to those few top races. Emo waited till everyone was quiet before saying, "Immortal friends, I will be distributing the 44 spots like this. I will be selling 14 of them privately. As for the remaining 30, Wang Nanshuang and Luo Qinghe came to the gathering so they can have one each." Wang Nanshuang and Luo Qinghe thought that they just went to sit for a while and didn't do anything, but they didn't say it out. Wang Nanshuang knew she did nothing, but she didn't want to give it out. The spot was too important for the immortal goddess sacred sect. Luo Qinghe said, "Pill Divine Yi. I'm on the god rank. I have the right to go in. I'll give this spot to martial sister Nanshuang." Emo just realized that Luo Qinghe didn't need the spot. Luo Qinghe saw that he seemingly knew Emo, so he gave it to her. Hearing this, Wang Nanshuang quickly bowed to Luo Qinghe and said, "Thank you, martial brother Luo. I'll take it." Wang Nanshuang felt her face was burning. Luo Qinghe gave it to her, but she didn't even have the courtesy to reject it once. She didn't even ask for Yemo's opinion and just took it. But she knew that for the immortal goddess sacred sect to get back again, her face had to be thick. Emo looked at the hopeful Dong'en and said, "Dong'en, you're halfway Tao Essence, you have a spot too." Dong'en came up and thanked, "Thank you, brother Yi. Dong'en won't disappoint you." His relations wasn't that close with Emo, but he was experienced in dealing with people. He didn't abuse Emo arrogantly and helped Emo wherever he could. Yet, such little help gave him such huge reward. When he said he wouldn't disappoint Emo, it meant that he would give Emo a few Tao fruits if he found good ones. Emo knew what Dong'en meant and didn't reject it. Looking at other people's hopeful looks, Emo said again, "There are still spots and everyone has a chance to get it. However, I suggest those below Tao actualization to not fight for it. After all, the Tao Fruit Tower isn't safe." "May I ask Pill Divine Yi how you're going to distribute the remaining 27 spots?" someone asked desperately. "There's nearly 3 months before the Tao Fruit Tower opens. During this 3 months, I hope immortal friends Qinghe will take lead and choose 27 people. But there are some things I need to say now. Even the 27 chosen ones won't be getting the spots without conditions. I will discuss the conditions before the Tao Fruit Tower opens." Emo's words got everyone's approval. Although there were 27 spots, but it wasn't enough for this many people. Luo Qinghe rarely came to the Void Marketplace, but everyone knew him from the god rank. He was trustworthy, so it was best that he managed this. Emo came to the Immortal Rest Tower. He didn't know if Zhongli Huin would come find him. If he didn't, then Emo would go find him. Emo immediately took out Gongxiang's storage ring. A Tao Essence Divine Emperor's storage ring should be wealthier than his. It didn't disappoint Emo inside. Emo found an extreme grade God Spirit range and nearly 1 billion God crystals, as well as a large pile of God Spirit herb and materials. As for Gongxiang's magic artifact, it was the most worthless to Emo. As soon as Emo organized the things, Xinghong came over. "Pill Divine Yi, I heard you're selling 14 spots to the Tao Fruit Tower?" Xinghong was close to Emo and immediately asked. "That's right. I was planning to ask Brother Xing for help and yet you came." Emo smiled. Xinghong immediately said, "Pill Divine Yi, I have an idea. I'll invite over some wealthy merchant associations and sections. Then you can publicly sell these 14 spots. That way, you would gain the most benefit." Emo knew this was a good idea. Clearly, it would make him wealthy quickly. Of course, there was high risks for this. That was everyone would know there was a human called Emo who reaped in huge profits. But Emo didn't care about this. How can there be reward with no risk? "Okay. I'll leave that to Brother Xing." Emo agreed without hesitation. Xinghong hesitated and said, Pill Divine Yi. This is definitely a good method, but then only drawback is that it would put Pill Divine Yi on the spotlight and bring you great risk. Emo laughed, wanting rewards and being scared isn't my style. Brother Xing, just go do it. Leave life and death to me. Xinghong nodded. With Pill Divine Yi's power, no one in the void marketplace dares to seek your trouble. If it was before, Emo definitely wouldn't dare to do this. If he did that, he would have to wait and die. He wouldn't even be able to leave the void marketplace, but with his current power, he could afford to do it. Xinghong could remind him this meant that he was a rather good friend. After Emo exchanged communication beads with Xinghong, he said, I'm free these few days, whatever pills Brother Xing needs, just send me the materials. Xinghong didn't act polite this time and took out a storage ring to Emo. I have a few cauldrons of pills for you, Pill Divine Yi. Feeling that Xinghong was being genuine, Emo sent Xinghong to the door personally this time. This was a signal. Emo was famous in the void marketplace now, and by sending Xinghong out, it meant that the human race was forming an alliance with the void marketplace merchant tower. Emo was such a huge potential and powerful Pill Divine. Of course Xinghong wouldn't reject this. Pill Divine Yi. As soon as Emo was planning to go back, he heard an uncertain voice. Emo turned around and saw an ordinary-looking young man. He was Dao Nourishment Peak Stage. His skin was white and eyes a bit sunken. The chi of void and different realms stayed on him. Clearly, he roamed around a lot. You're looking for me? This person was also a human. Yes, Pill Divine Yi. Wanbei is Zhu Wuheng. I came a bit late to the void marketplace and didn't get to see Pill Divine Yi's dominant look representing the human race. I came to visit this time. Zhu Wuheng's tone was genuine. Emo smiled. It's not easy for you to reach Dao Nourishment Peak Stage. When the Dao Fruit Tower opens, you can go have a look too. Zhu Wuheng quickly said, Pill Divine Yi. Wanbei came for the Dao Fruit Tower, but I haven't reached Dao Actualization yet. Qinghe QB said, Wanbei can't go in yet, but Wanbei believes I'm no weaker than any Dao Actualization Divine Emperor. It's not that I can't reach Dao Actualization, but I don't want to yet. Emo didn't doubt the first half, but he was shocked at the second half. Even he can't reach Dao Actualization whenever he wanted. Follow me, Emo said and turned into the Immortal Rest Tower. Zhu Wuheng clearly knew that Emo was going to give the opportunity to him, and thus followed Emo without hesitation. You're saying you can reach Dao Actualization whenever you want? Emo set up restrictions and asked. Zhu Wuheng said affirmatively, yes, but in order to reach the grand state of primordial essence, I've kept perfecting my Dao instead of breaking through to Dao Actualization. When my Dao Mark God Art is perfect, I wouldn't need to do anything and I would reach Dao Actualization Divine Emperor. If other people heard this, they would think Zhu Wuheng is bluffing, but Emo didn't think that way. What gives you such confidence? Emo's tone went cold. Even he didn't dare to say that. Because my father is a primordial essence divine emperor and the cultivation method he left behind is the top primordial essence divine Dao cultivation method. Not only that, I'm a natural Dao body. I know extremely clear if I can and how I can reach my next cultivation level. Zhu Wuheng looked at Emo calmly. Zhu Wuheng's words shocked Emo. Emo was surprised but not shocked at the primordial essence divine Dao cultivation method. However, he was shocked at the Dao body. Such body was born for cultivation. In the process of cultivation, they knew very clear what their weaknesses were and could accurately predict if they could break through to the next level, when to break through what was needed. They were also many times greater at learning Dao. They could easily learn any god art or magic. It's not that their cultivation speed was fast, but with that precise control, their cultivation foundation was more solid than anyone. Of course, this was if they had the necessary cultivation resources. Emo also knew that the greatest secret of the Dao body was that it could be possessed. Yet, Zhu Wuheng dared to tell him this the first time they met. How much confidence and balls did he have? You're quite bold to tell me about the Dao body, Emo said. Zhu Wuheng bowed. If it wasn't for Qianbei's charisma, Wanbei wouldn't dare to say it too. Qianbei can represent the human race to go to the Dao Fruit Tower distribution and give 30 spots back to the human race. One could see that Qianbei is an honest and righteous person. Plus, Qian Bei's talent is probably more absurd than mine. Qian Bei don't seem to be older than Wan Bei, but your cultivation level is far superior. Emo knew that his age probably was less than 1% that of Zhu Wuheng's. And Wan Bei knows that if I don't enter the Dao Fruit Tower, there's no hope of me reaching the Dao Essence Divine Emperor I want to reach. Most importantly, Wan Bei has no time to wait. Zhu Wuheng's tone was very genuine. Your father is a primordial essence divine emperor. I believe he's famous. What's he called? Emo already decided to give a spot to Zhu Wuheng. It would be too unfair to not give such a talented divine emperor a spot. My father is called Juya. Zhu Wuheng answered calmly. Juya? Emo repeated. He had never heard of this name before. Qian Bei hasn't heard of my father? Zhu Wuheng looked at Emo with more shock. He thought that someone as strong as Emo would have definitely heard of his father. Emo smiled. Perhaps I forgot, but I don't have a deep impression. Do you want to reach Dao Essence Divine Emperor quickly due to your father? Zhu Wuheng nodded. Yes. I don't want to ruin my foundation, but I also want to speed up to save my father. What happened to your father? Emo asked. Zhu Wuheng hesitated for a while and said, My father is sealed. No one else can save him other than me. Emo didn't keep asking. Emo said, Zhu Wuheng, I can give you a spot, but you need to help me do something. That is, if you save your father, then you must go back to the divine Dao realm and protect is for 300 years. Emo felt uneasy ever since the distribution gathering. He didn't know exactly what it was. Zhu Wuheng fell silent for a while and said, Pill Divine Yi, if I save my father, I can assure that my father and I will stay at the divine Dao realm for 100 years and help it. I can't promise beyond that time. I know what Pill Divine Yi is worried about, but my father isn't a human race divine emperor from the divine Dao realm. He even has conflicts with the primordial essence divine emperor from the divine Dao realm. If it wasn't that the divine Dao realm is broken, I can't even promise 100 years. Okay. Emo agreed without hesitation. Zhu Wuheng was someone like him. If they promised, they would never regret. After Zhu Wuheng left, Emo set up his room restrictions and then took out the storage ring Xinghong gave him. He wanted to see what god pills Xinghong wanted him to concoct. Cosmic Lotus? Emo immediately grabbed out a lotus from the storage ring. It had 9 petals. At the same time, Emo realized that it was Void Marketplace Merchant Tower at the auction who used Du Yuan I to buy the Cosmic Lotus. Emo applauded Xinghong's temperament. Xinghong gave him this clearly to ask him to concoct Cosmic Dao Pill. Thinking about how 50% was his, Emo was very excited. He also felt happy with Xinghong's trust. Other than the Cosmic Lotus, the other materials were nothing compared to it. In the Void Marketplace, the most luxurious and big exchange palace was the Void Marketplace Merchant Tower's Exchange Palace. Today, Emo came here with Xinghong and Xiao He. This time, the palace is opened for exchanges, but unlike before, this was only for Emo. Xinghong was from the Void Marketplace Merchant Tower. However, he didn't represent them. Instead, he stood next to Emo. Everyone here knew that Emo was going to sell 14 spots into the Dao Fruit Tower. Although there was just 14 and Xinghong didn't advertise, quite a lot of people got the news. This time, 60 people came. Each one represented a powerful sect or a powerful faction. When everyone sat down, Xinghong signaled Emo to get up and speak. Emo got up and saluted with his fists. Thank you, immortal friends, for coming here to deal with me. I've already given out one of the 14 spots, so I only have 13 spots left on me. There's no limitations. As long as you can take out something that I like, be it God crystals, God spirit herb, or God spirit items. Everyone knows I'm a pill divine, so don't take out God pills. God crystals and God spirit ranges were necessities, but at the divine emperor level, they were the least valuable to them. The most valuable were God pill and Dao fruits. Okay, pill divine Yi is straightforward. I like it. I'll use 1 billion God crystals to buy a Dao Fruit Tower spot. A coarse-looking Dao Essence Divine Emperor got up and said. Emo sneered. In terms of business, he wasn't as good as Su Jingwen and Su Yuehua, but he was no weaker than the Divine Emperors here. If it was an ordinary Dao fruit, 1 billion God crystals was worth it. But if you were lucky, you could get maybe even 10 Dao fruits with a Dao fruit tower spot. Emo had already asked. Each level of the tower only has one Dao fruit tree, but this tree is enormous. It's almost like a realm. If two divine emperors picked Dao fruits on the two sides of the tree, their spirit sense wouldn't even be able to see each other. Of course, how many Dao fruit you could pick depended on your cultivation level. Under any Dao fruit tree, the pressure doubles each time you pick a Dao fruit. That's why there are many divine emperors who die in the Dao fruit too. The danger didn't just come from the hunt of other divine emperors. Emo also knew from Xinghong that the Dao fruit tower has this great Dao wave. It's very helpful for Dao actualization divine emperors breaking through. Many Dao actualization divine emperor peak stages who leave the tower break through to Dao essence divine emperor immediately. Everyone looked at Emo hoping he would agree. If he did, there would be a reference price point. Emo smiled. This is how I feel about selling the spots. In order to speed things up and keep things secret, I'll use jade cards for bids. I have tens of jade cards here. I'll give everyone one and you write down the number of spots and your price on it. After comparison each round, I will choose a jade card to complete the deal. Hearing this, everyone was dumbfounded. This was a cruel move. This was making everyone compete against each other and unable to see each other's price. Only Emo would know the bid, so in order to win, people would have to make their greatest offer. Seeing this, Xinghong breathed easy. He was scared that Emo would accept the 1 billion God crystals offer. With this, everyone gave up trying to get a small advantage. They could only mark down their greatest offer on the jade card. The first round of bids soon came in. Most bids just wanted one spot and the value was about 1 billion God crystals and some other things. Emo didn't want these things at all, so he wouldn't agree. Emo saw that one jade card wanted 5 spots and the bid was 1 extreme grade God spirit range and 1 top grade God spirit range as well as 10 billion God crystals. Emo immediately knew this price was fine. Emo returned all the jade cards back and said the first round has concluded. Immortal Friends 37 has bought 5 spots. As soon as Emo said this, Emo sent 5-spot jade cards to a short-haired man. These are jade cards made by me. When the Dao Fruit Tower opens, anyone can take these and go to the human race. The short-haired man quickly gave Emo a storage ring and left the palace rapidly. Emo said that anyone could use the jade cards, meaning that he only recognized jade cards, not the people who bought it. With 5 spots gone in the first round, no one dared to bid 1 billion God crystals at the second round. They bid much higher prices. The second round, Emo sold 2 spots. The less spots there were, the higher the bid Emo got. When all 13 spots were gone, Emo got 30 billion God crystals. 2 extreme grade God spirit range in total and 3 more top grade God spirit range, as well as some God spirit herb and high-level forgery materials. Finally, Emo felt he was a little wealthier. At least, he wouldn't be so shocked to see just 10 billion God crystals. Emo was planning to sell some of his pills after selling these spots, but since the spots alone earned him so much, he gave up on the idea. He could sell these things anywhere. Congratulations, Pill Divine Yi. Xinghong walked up to Emo and said. He didn't know how much Emo earned, but he knew it wasn't little. I'm finally not poor anymore. Emo felt great. Xinghong didn't ask about Emo's pill concoction and just said, I'm going back to the merchant tower. If you need me, Pill Divine Yi, just call the attendants at the Immortal Rest Tower. Emo gave the storage ring Xinghong gave him before back to him. The pills are made. See if they're okay, Brother Xing? Xinghong had long wanted to ask Emo about the pills, but he was too embarrassed to. Now that Emo said they were ready, he almost called out. He grabbed the storage ring and took out a few jade bottles from inside. 6 God Cloud Pill, Extreme Grade. 6 North Soul Pills, Extreme Grade. When Xinghong saw it was all extreme grade pills, his hands were shaky. He had never seen God pills of this quality. This wasn't ordinary God pill. These were God pill for Dao Essence Divine Emperor. 6 extreme grade Cosmic Doa Pill. When Xinghong saw these, he finally couldn't hold in his excitement. PM Divine Yi, you really successfully made the Cosmic Dao Pill? They're extreme grade too. How did you do it? Emo looked at Xinghong and asked, Brother Xing, did you not give me the Cosmic Lotus for me to concoct the Cosmic Dao Pill? Of course, but I wasn't very confident and there were no better pill divines than you in the Void Marketplace. I promised to the Void Marketplace Merchant Tower that you could definitely do it and they barely let me have the Cosmic Lotus. Haha, I didn't expect you really succeeded and they're extreme grade too. I want to see who dares to say anything now. Xinghong laughed. Emo coughed, Brother Xing, you've come and gone in a hurry recently. Is it due to the Cosmic Lotus? Xinghong said awkwardly. That's right. I had to go explain it carefully each time I went back. Now I finally don't need to. I'm going back to slap their faces. Ha ha ha. At the same time, Xinghong realized that Emo definitely concocted more than 6 pills. Otherwise, if he only concocted 6 pills, there was no way they would all be extreme grade. Emo quite possibly concocted 12 cosmic Dao pills. Thinking about this, Xinghong dazed. What pill concoction skill level was this? This was definitely not Dao Actualization Pill Divine but definitely Dao Essence Pill Divine. Emo was a peak Dao Essence Pill Divine. Pill Divine Yi, your Dao Essence Pill Divine. Thinking about this, Xinghong asked in extreme shock. Emo knew that his true pill concoction skills would be exposed when he gave the pills to Xinghong, but he didn't care. Even if a halfway primordial essence tried to kill him, he could easily get away. Plus, a powerful primordial essence pill divine was someone that halfway primordial essence wanted to suck up to. Who would be dumb enough to kill him? That's right. I'm a primordial essence pill divine. A decent one. Emo said. Xinghong took in a cold breath and before he could say anything, Chow, he said in surprise and joy, Pill Divine Yi, you're actually a Dao Essence Pill Divine. The better Emo was at pill concoction, the better it was for him. Chow, he had been following him for this long, but Emo still couldn't go with him to Guangyuan Palace yet. Emo could only say apologetically, Immortal friends Chow. I'm indeed a Dao Essence Pill Divine, but I'm still quite busy, so I can't go with you yet. That's fine, that's fine. Chow, he was desperate, but he said without hesitation, don't worry Pill Divine Yi. I have time to wait. Chow, he was very desperate, but he didn't dare to leave the Void Marketplace and ask the Palace Lord to come. He was scared that as soon as he left Emo would leave for another few hundred years. Emo could see Chow He's desperation and could tell that he was genuinely inviting him to Guangyuan Palace. But no matter how much he pitied that young mistress, he wasn't going to the Guangyuan Palace before he reached Dao Essence Divine Emperor. Saving people was important, but so was his life. He didn't dare to be Carol's Fasinga, Primordial Essence Divine Emperor. If he didn't have the Chaos World nor the Chaos Tree, he didn't mind, but he had too many good things. Even Primordial Essence Divine Emperor would be jealous of every single one of them. Brother Yi, I'll be going back to the Void Marketplace Merchant Tower immediately. If there's anything you need, just let me know. I can definitely do it for you. Xinghong even changed Yemo's title. Clearly a peak Dao Essence Pill Divine had the same value as a Primordial Essence Divine Emperor. Emo knew the Void Marketplace Merchant Tower was wealthy, so he didn't act too polite. I need large amounts of God Spirit Herb and immortal materials. The more the better. Okay, don't worry Brother Yi. I promise to get these things done for you, Xinghong said. After Xinghong left, Emo said to Chow He, let's go visit the Abyssal Race Dao Essence Divine Emperors. Abyssal Race was one of the few powerful races. The hotel they stayed at was the most luxurious in the Void Marketplace. Emo and Chow He just came to the door of their hotel, and Zhongli Huayin came out to greet Emo. Immortal friends, Zhongli seems very busy. I don't know if I've disturbed you, Emo said while saluting with his fists. Emo was quite annoyed at this guy. He let this guy live. This guy should have come to visit him, but he had to come over instead. Zhongli Huayin knew that Emo was scorning him for not going over, but he wasn't angry at all. He forced a sliver of smile and said, I was planning to vice Pill Divine Yi, but suddenly a few friends came, so it took a few days. I hope Pill Divine Yi won't mind. Pill Divine Yi and Immortal friends Chow, please come with me. Since Pill Divine Yi is here, then please drink a cup of tea. An ethereal voice sounded. Emo immediately knew who this voice belonged to. It was that Abyssal Race Dao Essence Divine Emperor he took notice of. He was the leader for the Abyssal Race this time. When Emo walked in the place, he noticed that there really was another guest. She was a woman. The first time Yemo saw this woman, he just felt she looked clean, but after Yemo's eyes stayed on her for a few seconds, he found that she emitted the seduction all over her body. Such familiar feeling. Yemo immediately thought of someone. When he first came to the Immortal realm, he met a woman called Zhangjin. She's a member of the MOU Immortal sect now. Yemo saw certain that they were both natural seductive body. However, her cultivation level was countless times higher than Zhangjin. Her cultivation method was suited to her body. I've long heard of your name. It's an honor to see you here today, Pill Divine Yi. This woman smiled at Yemo. As for Chao, she just completely ignored him. Chao, he sat next to Yemo and didn't care if he was ignored. That bleak Qi Dao Essence Divine Emperor introduced Pill Divine Yi. This is a Phoenix Dao Essence Master Tang Qi. She wanted to come here and see you after hearing you were coming. I'm Chao Zhe. I'm also very grateful that Pill Divine Yi could show mercy. If there wasn't too many things to do, I would have long visited Pill Divine Yi. Just when Yemo was thinking if this Tang Qi was related to Tang Xiaoyu, Tang Qi said, "Immortal friends Chao, don't mind me. I'll just drink some tea here." The two seemed to be close, and Chao Zhe just nodded to Tang Qi before turning to Yemo and saluted with his fists. Pill Divine Yi probably wants to ask about the Abyssal Realm, right? Yemo didn't have a good impression of this Chao Zhe and didn't want to waste time. Yes. I want to ask Immortal friends Chao if it's very hard for me to go to the Abyssal Realm? Chao Zhe clearly heard about this from Zhongli Huyin and said, "That's right. Out of all the races and realms, the Abyssal Realm is the hardest to enter. Not only do you need an Abyssal body to enter the Abyssal Realm, but also if you're not an Abyssal race and you forcefully enter, your cultivation level will be suppressed to the lowest. Of course, if Pill Divine Yi wants to enter our Abyssal Realm, we're more than happy." Then Chao Zhe even took out a dark jade tablet and dark jade slip to Yemo. "Pill Divine Yi just need to wear this jade card to enter the Abyssal Realm. This jade slip is a map of the Abyssal Realm including all the entrances. It's yours, Pill Divine Yi." He knew that if Yemo was set on entering this place, even if he described it as hell, it wouldn't stop Yemo. Yemo didn't expect Chao Zhe would be this easy to talk to. Yemo didn't know why this was so, but he didn't want to connect with Chao Zhe. Yemo got up to leave. He let Zhongli Huyin live. This wasn't something that 5 spots could make up for. Even if Zhongli Huyin didn't give the 5 spots, he could kill Zhongli Huyin and keep challenging the Abyssal race. Thus, Yemo didn't feel he owed Chao Zhe anything for the map and jade slip. "Pill Divine Yi, I feel there's something wrong with that Chao Zhe. You can't trust his jade slip." After walking out, "Chao," he said worriedly. Yemo smiled. "I know this. Don't worry. No need to follow me for now. I'm going to the Immortal Rest Tower for solitary cultivation for a while. When the Dao Fruit Tower opens, just wait for me there." Knowing this, Chao he didn't insist on following Yemo. After returning to his room, Yemo set up layers of restriction before entering the Golden Page world. Inside, Yemo immediately took out that dark jade card. Yemo's spirit sense scanned in. His spirit sense has reached 5th transformation peak. His spirit sense broke restriction after restriction inside the jade card. In just 15 minutes, Yemo's spirit sense left this jade card. He didn't break it. He knew that there was something done to this jade card. As soon as he used it to enter the Abyssal Realm, he would be tracked. Chao Zhe was already scheming against him. This jade card was made for him. Yemo sneered. Chao Zhe and that Zhongli Huyin already wanted to kill him. These days you really couldn't be too kind. He sealed the jade card and then picked up the map jade slip. It didn't seem newly made, but Yemo easily found another spirit sense mark. Yemo took out a new jade slip and copied the map onto it before sealing this jade slip too in the Golden Page world. Yemo was never going to go easy on those who wanted to kill him. Yemo left the Golden Page world. A few days later, Xinghong came over to give Yemo a storage ring. It was filled with all sorts of materials and God spirit herbs. They weren't very expensive, but they were ample in amount. From Xinghong, Yemo heard about the Kamsik Dao pill. It's been brought to a heaven price in the Void marketplace. They were extreme grade Dao fruit God pills. The first one was sold for nearly double the price of the Cosmic Lotus. This is where the value of a pill divine showed. 12 pills came out of one cauldron. The value of the materials flipped more than tens of times. But not all pill divines had this success rate and quality. There was still 2 months before the Dao Fruit Tower opened, so Yemo stayed at his place concocting pills and forging materials. 2 months passed quickly. Yemo was planning to leave and ask Luo Qinghe about the selection. He also wanted to ask Luo Qinghe if he had been to Luo Yu continent. Before Yemo left his Immortal rest tower, Gu Bing rushed to Yemo's place. Seeing her worried and anxious look, Yemo knew something probably happened. What happened? Yemo asked. He was thinking if something happened with Luo Qinghe's selection. Did someone not agree to his selection? Brother Yi, our people are fighting with the Aquarius race at the God Rank Square. We've lost more than 10 divine emperors, and even Martial Brother Qinghe is heavily injured. If it wasn't... Before she finished, Yemo already disappeared from the room. Gu Bing knew Yemo went over and quickly followed. When Yemo saw the scene at the God Rank Square, he was furious. More than 1,000 people were fighting at the square, but it was pretty much all human divine emperors who died. There was 60 people who died now. It was all Aquarius race who fought the human race. They had the definite upper hand. The battle was extremely intense. The reason the Aquarius race could win was because they had 6 Dao Essence Divine Emperors. Human race only had 2 Dao Essence Divine Emperor. 2 of the 6 Aquarius Dao Essences were stopped by 2 human Dao Essence. 1 more was stopped by a red-robed human female. She was only Dao Actualization peak stage. Other than this, the other 3 Aquarius Dao Essences were slaughtering human divine emperors below Dao Actualization. There were tens of thousands of people watching the battle, and they were all watching, but no one intervened. Yemo didn't call them to stop. He charged onto the battlefield with Zissou. Amidst all the battle rays, one purple color instantly swept across the entire battlefield. Whether it was Aquarius Dao Nourishment Divine Emperor or Dao Actualization Divine Emperor, no one could live for a second under Yemo's purple ray. The 3 Dao Essences saw Yemo slay Aquarius Divine Emperors like chickens and immediately charged at Yemo crazily. Yemo was completely furious now. His powerful realm domain and spirit sense domain extended out and instantly swept in these 3 Dao Essences. The next moment, Crevice God Art and Falling Mark Sword Rune sprayed out non-stop, forming purple ripples in his domain. Almost all the Aquarius Divine Emperors who were sliced were killed. The 2 Dao Essences just released a magic artifact to stop Yemo's Crevice God Art, and they felt 2 twisted runes appear in their sea of consciousness. Yemo used Spirit Sense Great Primordial God Rune to attack their sea of before they could call out the words Great Primordial God Rune. Falling Mark Sword Rune swept over and the 2 Dao Essences instantly died. The 3rd Dao Essence worriedly stopped, but Yemo didn't give him any chance. Yemo threw out an Ice Space God Art and another Falling Mark Sword Rune. It had only been a few seconds since coming to the square, but Yemo killed more than 10 First Step Divine Emperors and 3 Dao Essence Divine Emperors. At this moment, the 2 sides finally saw Yemo come. The suppressed human side immediately became excited. The remaining 3 Aquarius Dao Essence Divine Emperors were very worried. The Dao Essence fighting the red-robed woman quickly said, "Pill Divine Yi, stop. There's a misunderstanding." The red-robed woman, who was almost about to be killed, quickly ate a God pill to recover and looked at Yemo in shock. She just came to God Rank Square. She really didn't understand how this pill Divine Yi was this powerful. Misunderstanding? Yemo didn't seem to hear it. Zissou didn't stop, but more and more purple sword ripples appeared in the square. Aquarius Divine Emperors were slaughtered non-stop. Instantly, tens more Divine Emperors died. Not only so, he extended out his powerful realm domain and threw out countless lightning swords. Ever since he reached Divine Emperor, Yemo rarely used this massive area attack lightning swords, but today he was completely furious. Aquarius Dao Essence Divine Emperors slaughtered human Divine Emperors relentlessly. If he didn't do the same back, he wouldn't be Yemo. Yemo was Dao Actualization peak stage, and his God Essence and Spirit Sense were more powerful than Dao Essence Divine Emperor. When these lightning swords fell, the number of Aquarius race Divine Emperors dying multiplied. Those Aquarius Dao molding Divine Emperor couldn't even take one. Even Dao Nourishment and Dao Actualization Divine Emperor died with just a few hits. Those people watching just realized that Pill Divine Yi was also a lightning element divine emperor. Misunderstanding? He didn't believe that bullshit. If it was a misunderstanding, why didn't the Aquarius Tao Essence Divine Emperors stop earlier? They were clearly killing human Divine Emperors non-stop. Seeing Yi-Mo didn't intend to stop at all, this Tao Essence smashed out a vibrant color and signaled the two other Tao Essences to attack Yi-Mo. When their opponents left, the two human Tao Essences immediately joined the slaughter of Aquarius Divine Emperors. There was no way things would resolve now. Everyone's eyes were red from slaughter. Seeing the Tao Essence shoot out the vibrant color, Yi-Mo knew it was asking for help, but he didn't stop it. Before this Tao Essence seeking help came up to Yi-Mo, Yi-Mo went up to him. He collected his falling mark sword rune and realm domain to only suppress him. This Tao Essence Divine Emperor was clearly no less angry than Yi-Mo. The same time Yi-Mo charged at him, water chi emitted around him and spread out, forming a water chi realm domain. The two realm domains clashed together and the two nearby Tao Nourishment Divine Emperors were smashed away. Powerful water chi domain actually stopped the twisted sword rune. Although this was because the falling mark sword rune had already weakened, Yi-Mo was still a bit shocked. However, Yi-Mo's killing intent was intense. When the falling mark sword rune fell, he smashed out 5 lightning spear destruction. 1 spear towards the Tao Essence he was fighting and 4 to the other 2 Tao Essences. There was a shocking God Essence explosion that spread across the God rank square. The Tao Essence fighting Yi-Mo stopped a lightning spear and released his heaven-smashing hammer at Yi-Mo. Yi-Mo went in instead. This time, he didn't use any magic artifact and just punched. The Aquarius Tao Essence rejoiced seeing that Yi-Mo was using his fists to clash with his magic artifact. The hammer sped up and instantly clashed with Yi-Mo's fist. The fist became huge with the surrounding of God Essence. The clash created space ripples. Another explosion sounded, but the hammer was actually stopped by Yi-Mo's fists. Yi-Mo's fist force was unstoppable. This Aquarius Tao Essence's face went into extreme shock. He didn't expect Yi-Mo's punch would smash away his God artifact. At the same time, a water domain rose up again before Yi-Mo's fist. This was his final defense God art. Ordinary God artifacts wouldn't be able to break it open quickly. This was his life-saving God art. Rumble. Yi-Mo's fist force smashed onto the water domain and the water domain instantly exploded. Each drop of water splashed out like a boundless huge mountain. Before the Tao Essence could understand how Yi-Mo broke his God art, the void fist force struck on his body, smashing half of his body away. Divine body? The Tao Essence called out in extreme shock. He retreated like crazy. Although the water domain God art was broken, but he still survived. He finally realized why Yi-Mo's fist was this powerful. This Pill Divine Yi was a body refinement cultivator of the extreme peak. He reached the legendary divine body level. Yi-Mo's punch didn't take this Tao Essence's life, but Yi-Mo didn't chase. Zissou smashed out again and 2 falling mark sword runes rolled back. The 2 Aquarius Tao Essences just broke free from Yi-Mo's 4 lightning spear and had to face Yi-Mo's falling mark sword rune again. Luckily, even though Yi-Mo was only strong, he could only heavily bind 1 Tao Essence. Blood light flashed again and Essence spirit crumbled. This bound Tao Essence Divine Emperor instantly died. The other Tao Essence Divine Emperor barely stopped Yi-Mo's falling mark sword rune and protected his sea of consciousness. He retreated rapidly but didn't dare to come up. Yi-Mo didn't chase as well. Zissou flashed with purple rays again. In a short while, a few more Divine Emperors below Tao actualization were killed. The battle on the God rank square had become one-sided. Pill Divine Yi, please stop. A powerful spirit sense scanned over. Feeling this, Yi-Mo knew it was half primordial essence Kong Han Divine Emperor. He was half primordial essence and rather polite. Yi-Mo had killed more than 100 Aquarius Divine Emperors now and got some revenge, so he gave face to Kong Han Divine Emperor and stopped the slaughter. Although he stopped attacking, Yi-Mo didn't take a break. He started collecting all the storage rings of the dead Divine Emperors. Seeing Yi-Mo stop, the human Divine Emperors stopped too and held those Divine Emperors with Essence Spirit left repair their body. Kong Han finally breathed easy seeing Yi-Mo stop the slaughter. Before he could speak, 5 more Aquarius Tao essences with more divine emperors. When they saw the terrifying scene at the square, their eyes were bursting out. Those Tao essence divine emperors didn't even think. Killing intent bursted all over their body. Even those outside the square could feel it. They released magic artifact and charged at EMO. They were going to get revenge. As for the dead human divine emperors, how could they even compare with the Aquarius race? Stop. I'm already investigating the cause. Kong Han Divine Emperor said with annoyance when he saw the Aquarius Divine Emperors were still going to attack when he said stop. The Tao Essence Divine Emperor who lost half his body still had some reason and he was recovering his body. He quickly went up to the Tao Essence Divine Emperors and said, "Don't fight now." He knew Yi Mo's terror very clearly. He had a primordial spirit artifact that could kill divine emperors like chickens and he was a divine body refinement cultivator. Even if all these 5 Tao Essence Divine Emperors charged up together, they had very low chances of winning. Plus, the human race had 2 Tao Essence Divine Emperors and a red-robed woman on par with Tao Essence. Hearing this, the 5 Aquarius race Divine Emperors calmed down a bit. They ordered the Aquarius race to collect the Divine Emperors who were killed on the square, but EMO already took their storage rings. The people watching knew that the conflict had stopped for now, but this human race pill Divine Yi was too terrifying. He killed more than 100 Divine Emperors in less than 15 minutes. It was because of him that the human disadvantage turned to a dominating sweep. A Void Marketplace Tao Essence Divine Emperor had investigated things clear already and quickly came up, Kong Han Divine Emperor Master. During the battle just then, human race lost 65 Divine Emperors and the Aquarius race lost 143 Divine Emperors. 4 of them are Tao Essence Divine Emperors. Kong Han heard this and frowned. He glanced at the scene and said, "Although Void Marketplace don't forbid fighting, but such large-scale fights are definitely forbidden. Tian Rui Divine Emperor and I will be waiting at the Void Marketplace guest palace. I hope the human and Aquarius race representatives can sit with us and sort this thing out. Since this happened, it must be dealt with fairly and swiftly." Kong Han Divine Emperor's tone went cold, and he even glanced at EMO with cold eyes. When he came, he saw how terrifyingly EMO slaughtered. EMO didn't care at all. He could tell that Kong Han's tone and expression seemed very furious, but he was actually very calm. He just wanted to go through the process for the sake of it. Luo Qinghe with heavy injuries and Wang Nanshuang came over. There was that red-robed Tao actualization woman behind them. EMO had a deep impression of her as she stopped an Aquarius race Tao Essence Divine Emperor all alone. EMO fought that Aquarius race Tao Essence Divine Emperor. He definitely wasn't simple. He wanted to kill him by attacking with full power, but he only destroyed half his body. Such injuries to Tao Essence Divine Emperors were nothing. Seeing Wang Nanshuang with red eyes, EMO immediately knew that someone from the Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect was probably killed. "Qinghe, what happened? Control your injuries and tell me." EMO took out a pill and gave it to Luo Qinghe. EMO also took out a few bottles of pills to Wang Nanshuang and said, "Martial Sister Nanshuang, go help the injured people first." "Pill Divine Yi, this started because of me." The red-robed woman bowed to EMO and said nervously. She had been very prideful. She didn't even take the halfway primordial essences of other races seriously, much less ordinary human divine emperors. She didn't know EMO's identity very well yet, but from how EMO came so dominantly and instantly turned the tides for the human race, she respected EMO a lot. After Luo Qinghe used EMO's pills, his injuries recovered rapidly. He quickly said, "Martial Sister Qin Xuanji is the other human divine emperor on the god rank. She's much higher than me. She's ranked 46th. God rank 46th? EMO studied Qin Xuanji in surprise. She didn't look old and was Tao actualization peak stage. Even though Tao actualization was the peak of the first step of Tao vindication, it was still the first step. Tao Essence Divine Emperor was the second step. The difference was heavens apart. Even if she was ranked 46th, it was hard to stop that Tao Essence Divine Emperor for a while. Not everyone had his cultivation method and fortunes. Qin Xuanji knew Yi Mo's confusion and said, "I've been adventuring in the cosmos and had some fortune. My cultivation level is higher than before, so I'm guessing now that I can be ranked in God rank top 10. Hearing this, Yi-Mo nodded. God rank top 10. They can't defeat Tao Essence Divine Emperor, but they would be able to stop the Aquarius race Tao Essence Divine Emperor for a while. Top 10. Luo Qinghe took in a cold breath. He knew better than Yi-Mo what top 10 God rank meant. Every one of them were a shocking existence. Let's not talk about this yet. Tell me what happened. Yi-Mo was going to reason at the Void Marketplace Guest Palace. He needed to know the exact situation. He knew that the human race Divine Emperor wouldn't be stupid enough to offend the Aquarius race, but he still didn't know how they started fighting. Qin Xuanji immediately said, Martial Brother Yi, after I came to the Void Marketplace a year ago to find out about the Dao Fruit Tower news, I left. I didn't know about Martial Brother Yi representing human race in Dao Fruit Tower spot distribution. As soon as I came back, I was challenged by an Aquarius race Divine Emperor on the God rank. He was higher ranked than me, but I was stronger than him. He wanted to kill me non-stop, so I didn't hold back and killed him. Luo Qinghe said, Aquarius race Dao Actualization Divine Emperor challenged Martial Sister Xuanji probably because they were unhappy with the human race. I think it might be related to the demon race. Yi-Mo felt this conflict was very strange. Even if there was a conflict, it should be between the human and demon race. Yi-Mo realized. At the spot distribution gathering, there was an Aquarius Dao Essence Divine Emperor who wanted to challenge him, but because of his threats, they backed out for some reason. Now that an Aquarius God rank Divine Emperor wanted to challenge Qin Xuanji, it was clearly to give him a warning. Being killed on the God rank challenge stage was something that no one could get revenge. The reason that Gongxiang dared to attack Luo Qinghe was Bo's human race was too weak and they had no leader. Now that human race had a leader, Yi-Mo, they needed a proper reason. Then, did the Aquarius race Dao Essence Divine Emperor attack? Yi-Mo asked. Qin Xuanji said, they didn't attack directly, but a Dao Essence Divine Emperor was extremely furious. He said that I shamelessly ambushed during the battle and threatened me that the Aquarius race wouldn't let this go. I knew the Aquarius race was powerful and resisted the urge to argue with him. Another human race, Dao Nourishment Divine Emperor on the side, said that the Aquarius race started the challenge and lost. Then, their Dao Essence Divine Emperor comes out. They're really shameless. Luo Qinghe saw Yi-Mo looked at him and he added that Dao Nourishment Divine Emperor is Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect Yuehe Divine Emperor. She said that, and the Aquarius race Dao Essence Divine Emperor was furious and just killed her. Qin Xuanji said dejectedly, seeing someone speak for me and get killed, I immediately attacked that Dao Essence Divine Emperor. However, this was all calculated. That Dao Essence Divine Emperor seemingly killed Yuehe Divine Emperor in anger, but he was waiting for me to attack. In fact, even if Martial Sister Xuanji didn't attack, Martial Sister Nanshuang charged up already. Luo Qinghe sighed. Then Yi-Mo thought and asked, did more and more people from both sides join the battle, eventually getting to that situation? Yes. The two nodded. Seeing Wang Nanshuang come over here, Yi-Mo immediately said, Qinghe, Xuanji and Nanshuang, come with me to the Void Marketplace guest hall. Till Divine Yi, I'll go with you too. It was a human Dao Essence Divine Emperor speaking. At the battle, one was him and the other was the Great Sun God Mountain Dao Essence Divine Emperor. The Great Sun God Mountain Dao Essence Divine Emperor seemed to know Yi-Mo detested him and didn't come over. Luo Qinghe said, Martial Brother Yi. This is Su Feng Qianbei, who has always been staying in the Void Marketplace. We've all been taken care by him many times. Okay. Then you four come with me. Yi-Mo then called Dongen and Xianxia over for them to gather the humans at the square to distribute the spots after he was done. Because of this, more and more human races cultivators came to the square. Till Divine Yi, I'm late, count me in. Xiao He landed in here with a dashing light. He was very annoyed that he didn't go to the battle. If he could help the human race kill a bunch of Aquarius race Divine Emperors, Yi-Mo would be very grateful to him. He didn't think about the terrifying consequences of doing this. Yi-Mo didn't want to bring Xiao He originally, but seeing him come, Yi-Mo changed his mind. The Void Marketplace guest hall was the most important place for meeting guests in the Void Marketplace. Usually, when the powerful beings of different races came, the guest hall would be open to greet them. Now, it became the grounds to resolve conflicts. Everyone knew the conflict couldn't be resolved like this, but since they were all at the Void Marketplace, those mass battles wouldn't be allowed. The God Rank Square was filled with formation and restrictions, and that's why the place was still intact. If it was somewhere else, maybe the entire Void Marketplace would be destroyed. When Yemo and them came, there were already more than 10 Divine Emperors sitting in the hall. Other than Kong Han Divine Emperor and 5 Aquarius Race Dao Essence Divine Emperors, there were 6 people from other races. Yemo saw that the Aquarius Race Dao Essence who lost half his body had recovered his body. His chi was still unstable, but he was clearly recovering. Yemo thought to himself, it seemed the Aquarius race had quite a lot of good things. After Yemo and them sat down, Kong Han Divine Emperor said, "Such thing happening in the Void Marketplace affects us greatly. I invited 6 immortal friends who watch to come over. I hope people can talk things out and not let such thing happen again." Luo Qinghe saw Yemo glance at him, so he immediately got up and saluted with his fists. "Kong Han Divine Emperor Master, immortal friends, although everyone knows the cause of this incident, I'll still say it again." Luo Qinghe just told the truth and sat back down. No one objected to Luo Qinghe's words, not even the Aquarius Race Dao Essence Divine Emperors. There were this many people who saw what happened. Even if nobody saw it, there was still the huge surveillance formation. Despite this, Kong Han Divine Emperor still asked, "Does the Aquarius race have any objections to this?" The Dao Essence who lost half his body got up and said, "That's what happened indeed, but when Pill Divine Yi came I already called stop. However, Pill Divine Yi still killed like crazy. I hope Pill Divine Yi can make an explanation to this. The Aquarius race has been around for hundreds of millions of years. If we don't get a resolution to this, we won't let this go." Clearly the Aquarius race had no reason, and just because they were strong, they dared to say such things. Kong Han Divine Emperor sneered. He wasn't going to care about the conflict between human and Aquarius race. At the same time, he was unhappy with Yemo. Before Yemo appeared, the human race Divine Emperors were very timid. Even if they were abused, no one would dare to have massive race fights like this. The reason the human race dared to do this time was definitely due to Yemo. Kong Han Divine Emperor still looked at Yemo and said, "Pill Divine Yi, you represent the human race. Do you have any words to what immortal friends Yaopu said?" Yemo answered plainly, "Oh, I really didn't notice Yaopu saying stop, but I'm very curious. Yaopu was on the battlefield himself. If he's telling me to stop, then why is he fighting with a human race Dao Actualization Divine Emperor? Is he not strong enough that he got suppressed by my human race Dao Actualization Divine Emperor, or is he just asking the human race to stop, not the Aquarius race? If that's the case, I understand. So he's asking the human race to raise our hands and get slaughtered by the Aquarius race. If that happens again and I hear it, I will do as Yaopu said. I will ask my fellow humans to stand still and let the Aquarius race kill them all." Qin Xuanji almost laughed at this. Yaopu's face was extremely bleak and he didn't talk about to Yemo. Kong Han acted as though he didn't hear the sarcasm in Yemo's words and nodded. Since both sides became like this due to a misunderstanding, then make a decision. Yaopu got up and said again, "The Aquarius race is a big race and we don't want to cause bloodshed all over a realm. If Pill Divine Yi destroys his own power, then this thing will end." The leader of the human race now was Yemo. If he lost his power, then the human race would be abused however they liked. Yemo's predicament would also become extremely pitiful. Yaopu's words meant that he wanted to kill all the humans in the Void Marketplace. Kong Han Divine Emperor then asked, "What does Pill Divine Yi think of immortal friends Yaopu's request?" Yemo got up slowly. "Yaopu's request is very reasonable. Maybe one day when I'm in a bad mood, I'll remember this." Kong Han Divine Emperor nodded again too and continued to ask, "What requests does Pill Divine Yi have?" Yemo smiled. "I'm very easy to talk to. I don't dare to make requests now. When I'm in a bad mood and I think about this, I will go to the Aquarius race and stomp my foot a few times." Kong Han Divine Emperor then looked at Yaopu and asked, "What does Yaopu Divine Emperor think of Pill Divine Ye's request?" "Very well." Yaopu forced down his anger and said. This was his first time seeing such a cocky human Dao actualization. Hearing this, Kong Han Divine Emperor got up and smiled very well. Everyone is very calm on this matter and agreed to each other's requests. This is a perfect resolution. I hope both sides won't cause trouble again in the void marketplace. At the same time, both sides need to pay 1 billion god crystals for compensation of damages. Emo walked out of the guest palace speechless. This Kong Han Divine Emperor really knew how to do nothing. But it was natural. As long as the human and Aquarius race didn't keep fighting in the void marketplace, he didn't care if the two sides could resolve the conflict. Emo, you better hope the Divine Tao realm can protect you. Otherwise, even if you run back to the Divine Tao realm, the Aquarius race will go over. Don't make that broken realm even more broken. Yaopu was waiting for Emo at the doors with a few other Tao Essence Divine Emperors. This time before Emo said, "Chow," he said in contempt, "very well. I welcome you to go. If one goes, I'll kill one. If two goes, I'll kill two." Hearing this, Yaopu frowned. What does this have to do with the Guang Yuan Palace? Chow, do you know the consequences of saying this? Is the Guang Yuan Palace going against the Aquarius race? Chow, he said in contempt, go against the Aquarius race? You can represent the Aquarius race? Keep dreaming. I can represent the Palace Lord and kill you, but do you dare to start war with the Guang Yuan Palace, representing the Aquarius race? Yaopu's face was green and he turned to leave. Emo said slowly, Aquarius race coming to the Divine Tao realm? You must not disappoint me then. If too little go, then don't blame me for going to the Aquarius race for a spin. Emo didn't care much about the threat of the Aquarius race. He heard that they only had one primordial essence Divine Emperor and one who hadn't been out for countless ages. Even if Zhu Wuheng's father can't go back to the Divine Tao realm, then he would ask Guang Yuan Palace Lord to stop the Aquarius primordial essence Divine Emperor. As for those below primordial essence, Emo really wasn't scared. If he reached Tao essence, then he didn't fear no matter how many Aquarius race came attacking Divine Tao realm. Yaopu was very annoyed. He knew humans had no primordial essence, but Guang Yuan Palace Lord was a primordial essence. He was famous amongst primordial essence. If he infuriated Guang Yuan Palace, his threats would be useless. Even the Aquarius race had to consider things if Guang Yuan Palace Lord became involved. The reason Aquarius race could become a huge race was because they had a sea-setting God Needle and primordial essence Divine Emperor. If something happened to their primordial essence Divine Emperor, the Aquarius race was nothing. Emo and them went back to the God Rank Square. There were nearly 10,000 humans waiting for them. When they saw Emo come over, they immediately stopped discussions. In the void marketplace, Emo was the core of the human race, their confidence to stay in the void marketplace. Emo set up a few restrictions and formations enclosing this area before saying, in the battle just then, our human race lost tens of divine emperors but were united in the void marketplace and didn't lose face. In this battle, we've gotten more than 100 storage rings and some small worlds. There are many cultivation resources inside. I'll let Qinghe Divine Emperor distribute these to you later as compensation. Pill Divine Yi, you killed most of the Aquarius race. We can't take these cultivation resources. Someone said immediately. Su Feng got out and said, Pill Divine Yi, these storage ring are pretty much your battle loot. If it wasn't for you, not many divine emperors would have even survived. Su Feng wasn't bullshitting on this. When Kong Han Divine Emperor came to stop the battle, the Aquarius race had the lower hand. If the human race had the lower hand, would Kong Han Divine Emperor come out in time to stop them? No one knew. A Tao actualization peak stage Divine Emperor bowed to Emo and said, Pill Divine Yi. The reason that the human race can even speak here is completely due to Pill Divine Yi. Otherwise, we will have no right to talk. Pill Divine Yi selflessly took out 30 Tao fruit tower spots to share between us. I was lucky to get one. For us humans who stay in the void marketplace long term, not having a leader is the scariest thing. We beg that Pill Divine Yi be the leader of the human race, and please tell us if there are any other requirements for entering the Tao Fruit Tower. This Tao actualization peak stage didn't even talk about the battle loot, but everyone could tell that the reason human race had some status was due to Emo. If they still wanted a share of the loot, it was too over the line. Emo understood what this Tao actualization Divine Emperor meant. He thought of a while. His original plan was that all Dao actualization divine emperors who entered the Dao fruit tower and got Dao fruits would need to give some back to everyone. The way of giving back was for him to concoct pills. At the same time, those HWO wanted to go in had to pay some god crystals. But after that battle, Yimo's mindset changed. The reason he wanted to take part of the Dao fruits and god crystals was mainly for himself. But now, he felt he needed to think for the human race. The human race's status in the void marketplace was low to a new extreme. He needed to think of ways to change this situation. Martial Brother Yi. The divine Dao realm is broken. Even if you helped the human race this time, what about next time? I feel that the human race need to gather and work together to defend against other races. Luo Qinghe said. He knew what the weakness of the human race was. The reason they weren't gathered was because they didn't have a leader. Now that Yimo appeared and got everyone's approval, Yimo had to stand up. Yimo knew what Luo Qinghe meant. If it wasn't that the divine Dao realm was so broken, he was planning to have a sect in the divine Dao realm. Why would he go back to the immortal realm? Yimo sighed, pity the divine Dao realm is broken and can't be repaired. Otherwise, I would suggest everyone to go back to the divine Dao realm and have a home. The divine Dao realm was broken. If these divine emperors went back, where would they get the cultivation resources? Qin Xuanji suddenly walked up to Yimo and bowed. Martial Brother Yi. It's not impossible to repair the divine Dao realm. Qin Xuanji's words shocked not only Yimo but everyone else. Divine Dao realm was the highest level realm, and it said that the battle royale of primordial essence divine emperors was what broke the divine Dao realm. Luo Qinghe said desperately, Martial Sister Xuanji. How to repair the divine Dao realm? As long as there's something I can do, I will do everything I can. Qin Xuanji said, the primordial essence divine emperors fought over the chaos tree and used the divine Dao realm as a battlefield. That's what broke the divine Dao realm. Later, I realized that the battle wasn't just over the chaos tree. Yimo's face went serious and said, be more specific. Yes. The primordial essence divine emperors of different races used the opportunity of fighting for the chaos tree to set the battleground at the divine Dao realm. The primordial essence divine emperors of the divine Dao realm were in conflict and no one cared about this. In the wake of the chaos tree, everything else didn't matter. In the end, more and more primordial essence divine emperors came to the divine Dao realm. When the divine Dao realm was shattered, those few human primordial essence divine emperors woke up, but it was too late. It said that there were still 5 human primordial essence divine emperors at the divine Dao realm. Those 5 primordial essence divine emperors were killed by the joined forces of other race primordial essence divine emperors. I don't know if people got away, but even if some did, their cultivation foundation would have been destroyed. What about the primordial essence divine emperor of other races? Luo Qinghe asked. The other primordial essence divine emperors were heavily injured. That's why there are rarely any primordial essence divine emperors these days. They're all either perfecting their own world or recovering. Qin Xuanji said. Yimo said slowly, tell us how to repair the divine Dao realm first. Qin Xuanji nodded. The news I got was that the divine Dao realm meridian was broken. In order to repair the divine Dao realm, one had to use the world mountain as the divine Dao realm's meridian, and use the world tree to provide the divine Dao realm with life force. Only that would repair the divine Dao realm. Isn't the world tree the chaos tree? Luo Qinghe said and then showed a disappointed face. The divine Dao realm was broken due to the chaos tree, and he had only heard of the world mountain. They had never seen it. Everyone fell into silence. According to her words, it was impossible to repair the divine Dao realm.